And let's use AOC as an example. Okay. AOC, if AOC does not, and the squad does not use their leverage to force a floor vote or try to force a floor vote, I'm not prepared to say that means that they don't believe in Medicare for all or that they're sellouts. I'm not prepared to. The evidence is overwhelmingly against that. That they may disagree with the tactic, and I may disagree with them for their position on the tactic on not forcing a Medicare for all vote. But I'm not willing to say, nor do I believe that that means that they don't want to pass Medicare for all or aren't willing to fight as hard as possible for Medicare for all. It could just be that they have a different theory of change. And when you take a strategic difference and try to broaden it to be a difference of values, if you don't have evidence that is rational and logical to do that, what you're doing is you're undermining people who are really on your side and who are trying to do the right thing.
Welcome to another episode of the Nick and CJ Show. I'm one of your hosts. I'm CJ. What's up, Nick?
What's poppin', my friends, my family? We are back. Nick and CJ. We saw our good friend David Sirota there. so many of the NATO left, progressive left, debased and shamed themselves over the last 2 years. Now the squad not even pretending, not even hinting that they're progressives, because they know people like David Sirota will defend them. People like Jordan Sheraton that say they don't like people saying the fraud squad. You guys embarrassed yourself. It's embarrassing. The squad is probably the biggest groups of sellouts since Obama. Probably the biggest political con. Maybe in my lifetime. Because when you look back at it, there was a lot of warning signs on Obama, right? The same argument you can make that there was warning signs by AOC in them. But AOC in them, unlike Obama, was like, I'm not taking corporate cash. I am governed by you guys. Then they turn around and do whatever the Democratic Party tells them to do. How is that not the biggest betrayal? CJ, anything you want to add as well?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think, like, is there really trying to just like rack my brain? Is there another political? Because before this, I would say it was Obama, and I've tweeted this many times. That tweet blew up too. Yeah, but this, it is just terrible, coupled with Bernie Sanders doing what he does at the same time. Like, all of this is crashing down. Like, the left is being fully exposed as a freaking joke. Joke.
The squad really believe their supporters are dumb, and to be fair, the people who still passionately defend them and support them are dumb. They think to be fair, they don't have to hide it. They don't even have to hide it. And
like, I don't understand, in any other setting, who would be arguing to continue with this strategy? Like, in any other setting but politics, a strategy that literally had no chance of going anywhere under Nancy Pelosi and will have no chance for the next 30 years under Hakeem. Zero chance. And they put up no fight, nothing. The guy's about to walk into leadership, and when they gain back power, which they will, he's going to be the speaker. And they have no chance, man. None.
So let's expand. Let's think about this. Let's think about the long game that the progressives in the squad had. So they decided not to force the vote to get Medicare for all, to vote for Nancy Pelosi. So 2 years later, they can vote for Hakeem Jeffries? They have no idea what they were doing.
What is the strategy? We just want to know, what is this? What is the strategy?
They're really like, I don't give a fuck. We vibing. Don't need strategy, nigga. All you gotta do is tweet a few nice things.
They doing book deals. She got a book deal. What do you mean? That is the strategy. The strategy is to string people along with this same idea that's not working. But now we're in a fork in the road, Nick, where they can say Hakeem is terrible. It is time for a new strategy. And I think RBN should be that those people who are saying, it's time, man. This is it. This guy's going to be here literally 20 to 30 years in leadership. This leadership team, literally.
Yeah. So now Hakeem Jeffries, who is 52 years old, right? 52 or 54, one of them. He's going to be a leader until he's at least 80. So the squad, in their unbelievable logic and their brilliant strategy and planning, they decide to vote for a guy who's going to be a thorn on progressive side for decades. Decades. This guy's he's gonna be in leadership for decades. So what is even the long-term strategy from the squad here? Nothing. When you David Sirota, when you rich, when you comfortable, strategy doesn't mean shit to you. You don't care.
Just keep doing it.
Say nice things. Say nice things so he can sleep at night in his gold, fucking blankets and shit.
Yeah, with his Oscars.
Yeah, with his Oscars.
His Oscar.
His heated couch.
Think of that.
So when AOC and the squad get power, it allows people like David Sirota to assess in their wealth while feeling good. Because I'm supporting change. This is why the Democratic Party loves the squad. They're there to dull the revolutionary spirit of activists on the ground, and also shut the fuck up, make the rich class traders, quote unquote class traders, shut the fuck up. Because it gives the illusion that the Democratic Party is changing.
Yeah, this cosplaying left lane that we talk about, I've done several streams. We both done several streams together. I've done some on my own or with Rome. I've done some with Rome. It's like this strategy has been exposed as a fraud. Like, I don't know what can they say, Nick. But let me explain the cosplaying lane, because I want to make sure I explain this definition. So cosplaying, where you criticize, just like we are. Yeah, they're terrible. He does reporting on it. But tell me, what is the value of your reporting if you just go back to the party that you just reported that's terrible? What is the value? What is the value, Nick? This is the analogy I always give. What is the value in me telling you I'm a vegetarian if 5 minutes later you see me on my break, in the back alley, scarfing down Big Macs?
Doesn't matter at all.
Value does that what I told you. Now that goes literally. Let's go. That value of you telling me you were vegetarian, Jay, that's gone. That's completely out the window. Go ahead.
Now you have, and I was calling this out all yesterday. You seen Bernie and the squad. They started tweeting stuff like, "We must hold the rail strike corporations accountable." And if you look at all their tweets, let's see if I think I did a compilation of them. If you look at
it was such a virtue sick. It was so clear what AOC was doing, and I should have tweeted it because I could have had it as a receipt. Because when she tweeted old thing she did for the union, that was her telling us she's voting for this. That was her telling us, because she has to say, "See, I've done tough stuff in the past." Rokana does this all the time. When he's about to do something bad, then he goes, "Oh, I did this in the past." I'll see if I can find it, and I'll bring it up.
So they was priming their audience for them to be disappointed with their vote.
Yes.
So here's I'll show you guys the receipt, because just so if you're not on Twitter, you're not aware, I'll do a quick breakdown what happened so you guys not too confused. Here's Sabi. Only one member of the squad voted against the railroad strike agreement. Like I said, they're useless. Now here are the Democrats who voted against. And if I remember, I think here's the list. All but 5. Wait. Yeah. So you had 79 Republicans vote yeah, 211 Democrats. Only 8 Democrats voted no. You had 129 Republicans vote no. As you see, there's no vote for independence because we live in a capitalist dictatorship where we don't have a democracy. So anyway, let's look at
the total vote. What is the total yes vote on that though? The total combined.
The total is 290. 290.
So AOC could have not voted. Cori Bush, everybody on the graphic, every single person could have not voted for it and went along with Rashida Tlaib. Literally.
Yeah.
Nick, why don't you even, this goes to your point. They don't even hide. Why don't you even just signaling to the left that you care when you know this vote doesn't even matter? Why aren't you even trying to signal to us
because they know they have David Schroeder and Sam Cedar that would defend them. So when you're a politician, you know you have an army of defenders that will of loyal defenders who will defend you no matter what. That allows you to sell out more.
Media. That's so important. In media. So what is the value of David Sirota? What is the net value? It's the net negative. What is the net value? To round up non-establishment people through your writing so you can tell them, I think the Democrats. That's literally what he's doing. That's literally what he's doing.
It's disgusting what he's doing. This is what the boutique left who had a meltdown because we criticized David Schroeder don't understand. So what David Schroeder, he write brilliant pieces exposing Democratic Party corruption. Okay. So then he tells people to vote for the party. Then he look at AOC and the squad who's complicit with a lot of evil things that Democratic Party do. So people who trust David Schroeder writing, and the same thing I hear all the time with you guys. What do we take? What do we do with this anger? What do we do after reading your article? And so David, what he does is, anyone who pretend about corruption, follow our message. Our message: support progressive Democrats, support Democrats over Republicans. So they taking people who know about corruption, and then they shine the Democratic Party up as if they're the better option. That is very manipulative. We can see through it because we follow politics. But if you're just an average guy who works a ton and you subscribe to David Schroeder and you see David Schroeder giving a tongue back to AOC, you then say, oh man, AOC must not be part of the problem then. You guys see the trick that David Pett plays? Talk about corruption. So then when he endorsed the Democratic Party, it makes the endorsement look good. So if the guy who talk about corruption endorsing Democrats, he must know something. No, he don't. As you guys see there.
But let's listen to this, Nick. I don't know if you ever heard this before. It's a short clip from when he appeared on Rumble with Michael Moore, which is his podcast, episode 217. If you anybody want to look it up, but it's a short clip, 2 minutes. Listen to their idea and notice the use of revolutionary non-establishment language.
The people that I talk to, whether it's on this podcast, whether it's people come to see my movies or whatever, with a straight face and just keep saying, yeah, we're going to make a better world here. And we're going to help the people that are the have-nots. And then we end up doing nothing, really, ultimately nothing. There'll be a bone. Don't, like you say, they won't throw everything out of this bill. There'll be a couple nice bones will feel good. But, poor people aren't stupid. Working people aren't stupid. They know, especially how Democrats come and promise them one thing and then deliver on maybe 1/10 of that, and then call that and then say we're your friends.
But I think your point is right. That changing the party is of utmost urgency. We have a situation. I've used this metaphor before. We have a situation where you have the Harlem Globetrotters of evil, the Republican Party, and the Harlem Globetrotters of evil are a huge.
Now, let me, I have to interrupt because I should have said this in the beginning because I did say, notice the use of the revolutionary language, but he's misusing the Globetrotter analogy. And I'm going to explain after he says it, but I needed to say that first. Listen to what he says with his Globetrotter analogy. It's completely misused. And if you don't catch it, I'll explain when it's done.
Harlem Globetrotters of evil. The Republican Party.
Oh, I didn't go far enough back. Let's go back.
And then deliver on maybe 1/10 of that, and then call that and then say we're your friends.
But I think your point is right. That changing the party is of utmost urgency. We have a situation. I've used this metaphor before. We have a situation where you have the Harlem Globetrotters of evil, the Republican Party, and the Harlem Globetrotters of evil are obviously a huge problem. But at least part of the problem is that you keep putting on the floor to face the Harlem Globetrotters of evil. You keep putting on the floor the Washington Generals and the Washington, and it feels like a rigged game, like it's already a preordained outcome. And that's a little too cynical. I don't exactly think there's 4 people in a room twisting their mustaches and it's like WWF wrestling. It's already scripted.
This is what no Marxist analysis does to a motherfucker. None of these people are Marxists, And that's why they don't understand. They're like, it's not some guy in the room twirling their mustache. And that's what we think. Capitalist interests will always support other capitalist interests.
Right.
So you don't have to meet in the room. They do this. They say this stuff to mislead their other non-Marxist audience, their other boutique left audience. That is not how. No one says it works that way, David Schroeder. Nobody. The Democrat Party is a capitalist institution that will always uphold capitalist values. And then he can't say it like that, because if you say it like that, then your only conclusion you make is that you must leave the Democratic Party because it's a capitalist institution that cannot be reformed. So he purposely gets it wrong. But anyway, sorry, CJ. I know you had a point to make. So go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say
the Globetrotter thing is ridiculous. But I want to hear. I want to hear from you first. I want to hear because I think I know where you're going with it, because it makes no sense. But go ahead, CJ.
Because he is explaining it, the Harlem Globetrotters of evil, and then he says, but you keep putting on the Washington Generals. He is disconnecting as if they're two separate teams.
Yes.
They are the same teams in different uniforms. So imagine going to a practice, to the Lakers practice or whatever team you're in. I'm in LA. So the Lakers practice, they don't have other teams they're practicing. So they have some part of the team in yellow and part of the team in purple. That's who scrimmage. That's what's happening. Not, oh, you're putting on the Hall. That's the same team. That is the point. For the Harlem Globetrotters to win all the time. That is the point. And he is misleading people as if all you have to do is put in the Warriors now. Take the Generals out. No, nigga, they on the same team. And it infuriates me because if you're this intelligent, you know you're misleading people with using the analogy this way. You cannot I know I'm using a double negative. You cannot not know that. Go ahead.
So there another reason why his Globetrotter analogy makes no sense, because the Globetrotters are supposed to be better. What's the name of the team they play? The Generals?
Washington Generals.
Generals, the Globetrotters are supposed to be better than the Generals. That is why your argument does not make sense. Joe Biden makes Donald Trump look like a chump. Right. He funds the military more. He funds the police more. He funds Israel more. He complicit with all of Trump's policies. So how is Trump the Globetrotter and Biden the general? If you're going to use that logic, wouldn't the Republicans be the general? Because they are not as effective at passing right-wing capitalist policies. No one extended the wars more than Barack Obama. No one was better at transferring wealth from the working class to the ruling class than Barack Obama and Joe Biden. So how in this analogy is the Republicans the generals? I mean, the Republicans the Globetrotters.
And let me add to
go ahead.
And let me add to what you're saying, just to the listen. You can continue. The 1994 crime bill could not have been passed by a Republican,
absolutely
whatsoever, because there would have been no black support. It would have been no people of color support at all. So it could not have passed. So the Democrats are used to sneak. This is the game. The Republicans yell the exact plan. The Democrats says that's terrible, but then they execute the exact plan that the Republicans was yelling. You ever heard of Obamacare? Isn't that Romney Care? But they sold that to us as a progressive plan with no public option. A public option. They never had any they weren't going to put it in. After they found out after reporting that Obama was telling people in the back, oh no, we're not going to do no public option, while going out in public saying, yeah, we're going to see if we can do it. It's a joke.
It's an absolute joke. You can play more of the clip. So I can.
Yeah, and then this is just the introduction. Then we'll get into it. So let's finish this up.
That when I think there's folks who may listen to this and say, oh, fixing the Democratic Party may be important, but it's not that important because the real problem is the Harlem Globetrotters of evil. And my point is that those two things work together. That the Harlem Globetrotters of evil are only able to keep dunking the basketball and winning the games because there hasn't been enough of a priority on making sure we're putting the NBA All-Star team on the floor instead of the Washington Generals. That's why the project of improving the party and making it more accountable to people is not some side project. It's part of the actual solution here. It's not some hobby. It's it's integral to fixing things.
Hey, David.
So he go ahead.
AOC is the generals. He said, well, we got to improve the Democrat Party so we have NBA All-Stars instead of generals. Right. Nigga, AOC is the biggest clown on the goddamn court. But go ahead, CJ. I know you had thought. It's like, Jesus Christ.
No, I was just going to say, man, like this, I don't understand how you can still continue to go down this path. You have to understand how embarrassing this is. Like, I'm embarrassed for them. Like, I feel embarrassed for them. Go ahead if you want to read that.
It's like he completely misuses. I was just doing chat check while you was going. He said he completely misuses the Harlem Globetrotter analogy. Let's see if I find some other one as well.
Let's
better analogy is better analogy is two football teams constantly fumbling the ball at the 50-yard line. You have to include an analogy when you're talking about the two-party duopoly, where there's one guy who wins no matter what, right? That's why the Globetrotter, that doesn't make sense, because it implies that the Democrats do not benefit from the Globetrotters winning.
Right.
Anyway, there's so many problems, because for one, I will argue that the Democrats are the Globetrotters. They get everything done that the Republicans don't, and it's unbelievable that David don't realize this. Now I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna go back to this list here, and I want to explain a concept to you guys that we went over before. So here are the Democrats who voted against it. Among this list, the two notable is Mark Pocan and Rashid Tlaib. And I saw a few people say, "Well, you have to give them props." Because at least they voted for that. Fuck that. We give no props to these rotating heroes. You know the same concept of a rotating villain? Where how you had Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. They're the bad guys now. Everyone supposed to ignore the corruption of everyone else in the Democrat Party because they put their neck out and vote no against Democrats. That concept is the same with rotating heroes that the squad has been using. So when they voted to expand the Capitol Police, the only person that voted no was Cori Bush. AOC voted president. Everyone else joined along. So the reason why they did that is because Cori Bush was the defund the police one. That's her biggest thing, right? So they couldn't allow her to give up that illusion. So they're like, oh, we allow you to vote no, right? But then everyone else vote yes. And they have done this consistently for years. So the reason why we don't give them credit because they do not vote as a block and they vote strategically so they can have one or two heroes who don't go down with the ship. And they have done this so many times. They did the same on BDS. The Iron Dome, where you had Jamal Bowman. He went along with it.
Yeah, that was a joke.
I think I don't remember who the only one who voted against it. I think Ilhan, maybe Ilhan. I don't remember the one who voted against it. But AOC voted president as well. The point is they always have one or two people who vote president or vote no. So don't fall for this shit anymore. We don't give credit to Rashid Tlaib or Mark Pocan. If they convinced their colleagues to vote no, then maybe. But no more falling for this shit. It's an obvious game that they are playing. I also want to show you guys something else as well. Anything you want to add, CJ, before I pass it back to you again?
Not to that. No, let's see what you're gonna put up. I want to see what.
I also want to show you guys some reactions. I just saw this maybe like 10 minutes before I logged on. This is from the liberals. The Democrat Party are the enemies of workers. This is our favorite. This is one of my favorite propaganda accounts. Brooklyn Dad. I barely know this because he had me blocked for quite some time. Every time I see a screenshot from this guy, it's unbelievable, and I wish he didn't block me so I can see go like this every day. So even though this guy is paid by the DNC, and this is the same concept with bots I was playing with you guys before, where you said, well, that's a bot. That doesn't matter because the bot is programmed by someone. So Brooklyn Dad is a paid DNC troll. So the Democrats pay him to send this message out, which tells you that this is the message that the Democrat Party want to send. Do you guys understand that? So let's read his tweet. Breaking. The House just voted to pass a bill to avert a rail strike by a margin of 2-1. Even 79 Republicans joined Democrats to pass this. Let's fucking go! We crushing unions, baby! Let's go!
What?
We're being scabs! Let's fucking go! You guys see how unbelievably unhinged the Democrat Party base is? He said let's go like I was watching the fucking World Cup game. We crushed the unions. We forced the workers to go back to work using government authoritarian power. Let's fucking go. Let's go. Let's go, Joe Biden. You guys see this?
This is some clown shit. This is clown shit.
You can't write this. You can't.
Oh, Nick, this is some clown shit. Okay, then I gotta play this. Then after you play,
Let me. I'll read the super chat just because it just came in. I passed it. I had to show that because I want to find some more receipts. I may go on and look while we go. I saw that like 10 minutes.
Clown shit.
I saw that like 10 minutes before we went live. I'm like, damn, they really going with that narrative. And also, after you share your receipt, I'm gonna show you guys this clip from CNN, man. Where CNN around the clock for the last 24 hours has been fear-mongering against the strike. I'm gonna get to that later. Let's read to the super chat.
No, I saw that too. That's crazy. Crazy what's happening.
Yeah, it's an out in the open class war. Meanwhile, you're not a Marxist. You're not a Marxist when the capitalists are waging class war against us. This is why when I was doing my research, it made sense to me. We should hate the billionaire class and the management class the same way they hate us. Because they hate us. They hate us. Meanwhile, the workers, they brag about how much money they make their bosses. They brag about their grind set, baby. I don't see my son because fuck seeing your family. Fuck mental health. It's about that grind set, son. You make your boss money.
They'd be like, no time off. I'm like, that you sound so stupid when you saying this.
You got kids, motherfucker. I used to sell cars, so I used to sell cars, you guys know. So I used to be around these grind set people around all the time. I had no kids, so I was using this opportunity to work a lot, make a lot of money. I was getting ripped off. That was kind of shit that radicalized me. But there's motherfuckers who had 3 kids. I see people who had grandkids. They're like, yo, we gotta make that money, baby. They working 60 hours a week. I'm like, bro, you don't care about your family? Fuck. I don't have kids, but I'm missing my brothers, my cousins, my moms, my aunts. Y'all niggas got kids and y'all talking about grind set. What the hell? Anyway, I'm getting off track. Let me read
this clown. This is clown.
It's so
go ahead.
The only thing we can do is laugh. It's really depressing. Thank you for the 1999. D bowed to Black Panther. But Nick, they do vote as a block. It's the good cop, bad cop game. I'm glad that you acknowledge this too, because this is the point I was making. Because I saw a few people making a mistake. Oh, Rashida Tlaib, at least she voted for. I'm not calling them out. I like some of these people. Oh, at least I'll give Rashida Tlaib props for voting against it. Nope. Whenever you do that, they smile like, yeah, got him. Anyway, they both setting you up for the prosecutor, but one will at least offer you gum. Thank you for the super chat. D-Bow, you guys want any other comments to be read?
Just think about. Yeah, you could throw up anything. Just think about what he said. In an interrogation room, you have the one that goes, "You're gonna give me the freaking evidence right now," and then his partner come in and he was crazy. Do you need some gum? You want something? Yeah. So it's so that he won't come back in here. Just tell me, give me something. You see the psychological game? That's the same thing they're doing.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that people fall for this shit. But see, drop past I know you got something to share.
Yeah. Let's because I have you. We have to show the Nina Turner video. So let's listen. It's about a minute and a half.
At this moment, most Democrats, maybe they disagree with him, maybe they agree with him, but they're not going to really hold him accountable in a meaningful way. So that's why I think it's really important that we do, institute these types of strategies where we bring together the grassroots and we also build that block in Congress. I did want to get your take on members of the squad. So rightly or wrongly, people have been feeling a little bit demoralized because they feel as if the squad doesn't necessarily push back on Democratic Party leadership enough. And I want to.
I was on a different screen. Sorry, I was on a different.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I want to keep the video going. But you see how sneaky these people are? You see how rightly or wrongly? So at that point, if I was on that panel, I'd be like, wait, pause. What's the wrong part? Well, explain that to me. Anyway, let's keep it going. I'll keep it short. But go ahead, CJ.
Because you're not supposed to attack them under any circumstance. I guess that's the wrong part.
To get your take on this, because I do feel a little bit mixed on this. On one hand, they are the only members who ever push back on leadership in the Democratic Party, but perhaps they could be more forceful. Perhaps they could, choose to fight even more battles with them. What is your take on this? Because I think it's really complicated, because on one hand, the members of
he's trying to give Nina Turner out if she doesn't go down the same path of his narrative. That's why he's saying, giving her that out right there.
The Democratic Party have a lot of institutional power, and they could use their power to really silence and suppress, these progressives. But at the same time, it's frustrating because there's so much that's at stake, so many people suffering who want Medicare for all, student debt cancellation, that, the standards are really high for members of the squad. So what is your take in terms of how you think they're faring as members of
the standards are really high for the squad? God.
The squad, and whether or not your approach would differ in comparison with theirs to Democratic Party leadership in particular?
Mike, you're right. It is complicated. That's the first thing I need the grassroots to understand, especially progressives. And I know progressives are disappointed. I mean, we tried 2016, 2020. I get it. So for me as a leader, not just somebody elected, because there are things that I can do in committee, things I can do on the floor of the Congress, but there's also things that I can do in my community and also across this country. So I want to say don't be disappointed. You got to have some understanding. It's okay to be disappointed, but the squad is ultimately the best that we have in terms of being able to push an agenda. And what that means is that you might not always agree with the methods. I need people to understand that when you are on the inside, it doesn't mean that you are selling out. I know they've gotten a lot of pressure, but they are the ones up there holding it down. They're pushing as hard as they can. And just because things are not going exactly the way, just because they're not using the exact tactics that some in the activist community want them to use, that doesn't mean that you throw them away. Because guess what? If you're throwing away members of the squad, who are our best opportunity to get what we need, and also some members of that progressive caucus, then you're not going to have anybody there. So if the prerequisite, in summation, if the prerequisite for relationship means that I have to do, or the squad has to do everything you say, the way you say do it, then there's not much of a relationship at all. And that you're going to be disappointed. Hell, they're going to be disappointed with me. I said that to Tim Black when we interviewed. I'm saying it to you, Mike. I want them to know you're going to be disappointed at some.
She goes on.
I bet you guys, Tim Black did not push back. Son told me that he didn't push back when she said that. Blue looking little punk. Anyway, you guys see that?
Nick, this is just the introduction. We haven't even talked about the rail part, really, because I'm going to bring up an article to go a little bit more in depth and what's being shoved down their throat. But let's take the opportunity to bring up some comments and do a chat check and a like check. So let's see. We are at, wow. So we're at 470 people. Throw your comments up. What I want to know is, where is everybody at? Since we have a lot of people today, can you just shout out what country, what state? If you want to throw city out there, that's fine too. But shout out where you're at in the comments so we can toss it up really quick. Also, we're at 229 likes. We got 480 people. Can we push to 350? Let's go to 350. That's about 120 more likes. 120 more people like this stream, and we can probably get up over 500 people watching. We're going to do a little more detail into this story about the squad selling out. The thing is, we haven't even we were already planning this. It was like the gods have opened up the heavens and brought these two things. They dropped this in. We already had a segment called "This is Con Game,"
Yes.
Without even talking about this story with the rail. We already had a story
The squad was like, hey, don't worry about
the
the squad was like, RBN, don't worry, we got you back. We give you some more receipts to work with. The squad like, don't worry, RBN, we're gonna do everything we can to prove you guys correct about it being frauds. We got your back. But go ahead. I'm having fun, man. I'm having fun. Go ahead.
Selling out doesn't mean they sold out, Nina.
With my friend Nikki, shout out to Nikki there.
Like the stream.
Does Nina forget that they are representatives?
Yes.
Meaning they represent the people? And she said, well, even though they don't follow with your strategies, what you say, even though they don't represent you, don't mean they sold you out.
Isn't that the
What?
exact meaning?
So if you're not representing me, why should I vote for you? Why should I send you money? And to the other super chat point, what Nina was saying, they are the best among us, man. They're the best among us, so why criticize them? Well, a lot of these dumb leftists who don't know strategy, what they don't understand, we criticize them because they are the best among us. Do you guys understand? Do you guys understand this basic concept that every single person in the dumb boutique left pretends they don't understand? So if the best among you sell you out, isn't that the argument for making a third party? So people melt down. When I say people, I'm talking about the Bernie AOC fans. You guys know the boutique left, the people we play the clips, they do everything they can to avoid mentioning us because we exposed their fucking grift. If you are advocating for a third party, for leaving a two-party duopoly like we are doing, the number one goal you have is to convince people that the best among the two-party duopoly does not have your best interests at heart. And if you don't do that, you are not serious about building third parties. Right. That's why Howie Hawkins was a joke. How the fuck are you going to run third party? You still say stuff like, well, the Republicans are worse than Democrats. Okay, then this is the fuck with the Democrats then. I am an unapologetic advocate for the black community and third parties as well. So if I'm not getting, there's no victory for the black community in the Democrat or Republican Party. So then by default, our job is to expose the people that is doling the revolutionary spirit of other people to get them on our side. Why do you guys think the third party movements have failed in this country? Because third parties in this country had horrible strategy. You have Green Party people saying that AOC is good. That's counterproductive. Now, if the AOC squad was good, my strategy wouldn't work because I would try to tell you. Wait,
Green Party is saying that? Somebody in the Green Party Green Party people say that?
I'm not naming names, but you will see every once in a while, and I think it's over now, CJ. It's like over now. But like in the early days, like during like 2020, you would see some Green Party people. They were still like, "Yo, at least the squad is pretty decent." I think for the most part, that's done though. For the most part, I think everyone in the Green Party knows they tried.
Man.
So
hopefully,
my criticism is people who don't understand what we have to do to build the working class movement that we need to build. And that's why whenever you see, I see Bernie AOC stands melting down by RBN all the time. I see the progressives melt down by RBN all the time, and I don't care. Because our job is to convince people to leave that faction. So, of course, they're going to be mad. Of course, people are going to be mad at us criticizing David Sirota. Of course, they're going to be mad at us criticizing Marianne Williamson because we are debunking the primary premise of their political philosophy. And that
so
is
that
what
those people who listen to them, so that people who listen and read to them, read them, stop listening and reading them.
Yes. What's up, Kit? Big shout out to my friend Kit. Harlan's Media. I wonder if TYT will have a meltdown about this. I don't know, man.
They won't, because then people will go, "Who's revolutionary blackout?" And it's a wrap, sir. It's a wrap. It's a wrap, sir. It's a wrap. So that's why they just keep their mouths. So I was surprised when Humanist Report went after Sabby.
Yeah,
maybe he was surprised when he got the reaction that he got, because the whole Twitter went right after him. Like it was like even his own people was like, "Yeah, this is some bullshit here."
And so we have a very high capture rate. Like the algorithm crushes us. Like we don't get a lot of new viewers, but when we do get new viewers, they subscribe. That's why we grow. We one of the few channels that is growing despite the crackdown on the algorithm, just because we don't get a lot of new people, but the new people we get, we're like, all right, let's subscribe. So what the boutique left does, what the Humanist Report does, well, all these people you see, they do everything they can to avoid even mentioning RBN because they don't want their audience to look at our argument. They don't want their audience to see us countering their argument. because they know that their political strategy makes no sense. Despite them calling other people grifters, they are the one becoming rich, not even trying to find a working strategy. We're gonna repeat the same bullshit over and over again because we was made rich by the Bernie campaign. Repeat after me. Mike Figaro, TYT, they was made rich because of Bernie. RBN is unlike anything they ever seen. RBN is 100% post Bernie Sanders. We made a channel after Bernie dropped out. There was no Bernie wave, and we made a channel on an off election year. We are growing because we are out hustling them, and we are exposing their lack of critical thinking. Anyway, CJ, anything else?
I think that second part, I think that second part is very important. I do want to go to a couple of comments.
Yeah, go ahead. Hey, we got super chat too. Let's see.
Yeah, so you can throw that one up first, and then I'll go to the comments because this is a regular comment. Go ahead.
Here's hoping a railroad strike leads to a general strike. Solidarity with railroad workers, and that's another example. RBN, we held a general strike summit to raise awareness about general strikes, and the same boutique level was like, what's the point of having these conversations? A strike will never happen. Like they are revolutionary defeatists. They're here to kill your revolutionary spirit. So many people like Hassan Piker and their people in their orbit was like, why are you having a general strike summit? Now, fast forward a year later, they all call for general strikes now. Hassan had
this is clown shit, Nick. And these are the professional. This is clown shit.
Why did I forget to do name? The Amazon labor guy. What? Chris Moss.
Chris Moss,
So Chris Moss was on Hassan Piker's show, and he called for a general strike, and they were like, "Oh my God, yes, general strike!" Meanwhile, we had the Kellogg union strike leader, we had union organizers, a longtime healthcare union organizer, a year before that, calling for a general strike. The point I am making,
didn't he call us out? Wasn't Hassan one of? Yes. Didn't you tell me that?
He was the one. He was like, "Oh my God, these people just live streaming about strikes," and then he did the same thing. So the point is, we are always ahead of these people because they have no idea what they're doing. That's what happened when you have no Marxist material analysis. You have no idea what to do. You have no strategy, no critical thinking skills, and it's unbelievable to me. Like when I see that clip, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, I went on that rant because it's super chat. It's like, here's hoping a railroad strike leads to a general strike. Solidarity with the railroad workers,
because they can still be a wildcat strike, Nick. And that's what I would hope. I hope is some down people in there and is just pushing for a wildcat strike. And we're gonna go to the World Socialist website once we get back into the story in a second. But let's show some comments because there's a lot. Oh my God, I just saw the clip that this segment is going to be talking about. I never heard of Tezlyn. I think that's how you say her name. Before now, and I'm a huge fan. She was spitting rapid fire. Now, this is before the whole breaking news dropped, because that comment was dropped 30 minutes before the stream actually started. Fraud Squad, I'm embarrassed to have ever believed in them. A lot of people are. A lot of people are. And it's okay.
I take that L. I take that L.
It's okay. Like, it's okay, man. Like, it wasn't like they were telling you up front. You were fooled. People were fooled. The mighty... What does that say? Squat stains. Let's do a couple more comments. Go ahead.
If you guys want to leave a comment, what nickname do you like best? Fraud Squad, NATO Left, Scab Left. Like, what do you guys think? Should we start calling it the Scab Squad now? Do you guys know? Leave a comment if you have.
Leave a comment. I haven't seen the tweet. We did go to try to look at it. So if anybody have seen this tweet that Rodrigo is referring to, please put the link in the chat, I guess, and if we could try to put it up and show it. So the squad game, and here goes you already put that there link.
I was trying to find a link to it because Twitter is kind of broken, so I can't search for tweets.
Yeah, it's acting up. Hello, RBN family. Don't forget to give the like button, and absolutely make sure we're trying to push to 350. 350 is the goal, so keep going. Squad is playing the long game, and it's a vomit. Yes, he's laughing. That's sarcastic. So, there's either comedy or really like based like ideology takes, and I love from our community. Love the comedy too. Their CIA, like I said,
I love that. Damn, comments moving fast. But anyway, I love that this has become a thing because of us now. I see this all the time on Twitter. I feel like because we still are small channel. We still a small channel. So I see these tweets. I feel like so many people don't get the joke. Like it's an RBN community inside joke that a lot of people don't get. But yeah, I see it right. I love that we made things. We're gonna be all right. I love that shit.
That's awesome. The squad aren't sellouts. Who is Beto? Is that Beto O'Rourke? Is that what you're trying to play?
Yeah, they quoting someone there. They quoted.
Yeah. Okay. So solidarity from Albany. So this is where some of our people are, Nick. Which is great. Let me see. Sellout Sirota. Yes, he's paid to do what he's doing. The pay lip service and pretend. They pay lip service and pretend to, but that's about it. Yes, they play lip service. That's the cosplaying lane. Let's see if we can get some more people where people are from, and then we can get started. Nick, hey,
yeah, and also if you guys enjoying this, and if you guys enjoying the stream, I'll just make a quick plug. Please like, subscribe. Also support our Patreon as well. That is allowing us to grow. We got a lot of great things planned in the future. We also have Jimmy coming on this Saturday, and I'm working on getting a lot of other big guests after taking a quick break after our last summit. So the more you guys show support, the more we can grow, the more I'm out there. So I know we all working class here. So I always just say just $3, man. If you guys have $3, give or not, we provide all our content for free. So that just helps us out. But go ahead, CJ.
Yeah. And
we got 2 super chats too, but go ahead.
Let me just toss this up really quick, because that brings up this point. We're still running a fundraiser, equipment and labor. We're trying to get adequate staff so that we can reply to emails, all that type of stuff, and then pay them adequately. We're trying to get equipment so people like Nick and I really want to get out into do it more actively. We've been out a couple of times using our phones, but we want to get some equipment. I have a person that was willing to go out with me. So I have a person. We just need the cameras or whatever else other equipment.
I wanted to cover the Casey Tenants rally live. I was there at the most recent rallies, and every time I go to one of these political events, I can't do it. Like there's literally no way I can host the event.
I feel you.
So
I'm right here by a bunch of Starbucks that literally are picketing. That were picketing. I could have went to. I'm right here, and you see all the 48,000. I could literally go and do a weekly like check-in and go, hey, we go down here and check in every week and see what they're talking about. Get some interviews. I know people that go there. When Feeney was out here, I met her at UC Irvine.
Yeah,
I that's where I met up with her over there, so I can go back over there and do.
Yeah, and as RBN grows, then we be able to hit the road. I'll be able to travel because Kansas City there's not a lot of shit here, so I'll be able to travel. We can cover events as we grow. So that what the Patreon will help us to do. Also, the equipment will help us to do. We can expand what we do on this channel, like in terms of on the ground stuff, right? So go ahead, CJ.
Yeah. So if you see any other comments like where people are from, because I promised I would do that. I just want to make sure I stick to my promise. Then we can get started. I'm ready to get into
you mind if I share something here?
Yeah, go ahead. Do what you do.
We can get a little bit back on topic. Let's talk about the road strike now that we
let's get
45 minutes we rode against the squad. Now I'm gonna explain another concept, right? The fact that we live in a capitalist dictatorship, and I've been screaming this on top of my lungs for the last 2 years now, trying to get people to understand this. So I'm gonna show you guys this clip from CNN where they essentially fear mongering over strikes. And now the reason why you have the Senate and Congress step up and shut down the strike and force them to agree to the tentative deal is because labor has maximum leverage in a way we haven't seen in years. So now that labor finally have leverage to the point where our economy is at risk unless you guys pay them for the essential work that they provide, now that labor has the advantage. Now the Democratic Party is turning their back against them. Now you had Joe Biden putting out statements like, "Man, how I market myself. I market myself as pro-labor, but we can't allow this to go on." And I'm hesitant to shut it down, but it is what it is. Now is the time where we're supposed to twist the balls, for lack of a better term, of the management class, of the union bosses. So I'm gonna show you guys this video here, and I hope this really explains how we live in a capitalist dictatorship, because This is state TV from CNN. And David Schroeder don't understand this, but you don't have to have executives from Fox News. You don't have to have executives from MSNBC and CNN twirl their mustaches in the room like David Schroeder thinks we believe. They have the same capitalist interest. So they don't even need a script. They just got to make sure they follow the pattern outlined in manufacturer consent, where you don't accidentally leak a socialist on here. You got to make sure you have a program filled with capitalists, and they will naturally follow the capitalist agenda. So anyway, let me make sure the audio is on here. I always forget to put the button. And then I'll play the video, and then you guys can react to it. Here it is.
A rail strike is one of the most disruptive and expensive things that can happen to an economy.
A rail shutdown or strike would disrupt supply chains.
A strike means food prices could skyrocket.
Many experts are saying would be an economic catastrophe.
That could mean a big shortage and massive price hikes. Even gas prices could increase.
And it also could cost the economy $1 billion within the first week.
That would cripple the economy.
I'm not setting aside the concerns of your members, but are you and your members willing to stop the rails, in effect, and accept those costs to the U.S. economy?
Do you believe a strike is worth it if it cripples the U.S. economy and costs up to $2 billion a day?
More than $2 billion per day.
Is it worth it?
And on top of all of that, the holidays are right around the corner.
It's a little less than a month right before Christmas here.
Especially right before the holidays.
President Biden warning, if that happened, it would devastate the economy if we had a strike like that. So joining me now to talk about this and a lot more is Bank of America. It's Brian Moynihan, chairman.
What the fuck? I didn't see that shit. So now joining me, is one of the biggest capitalists in the nation. Let's go to him. Here we go. What kind of clown shit is this, Nick? I did not see that last part. I don't know why I didn't see that shit. Oh, you're muted still. You gotta click.
We have a wide audience here, but you know I got nudged. We got people who got different political beliefs. But when you see this, I am asking you guys this question: why are you not a Marxist? Right? They are waging class war against us. Meanwhile, you guys are propping up capitalism. I just always got to throw that out there. Now let's get to some things they say. They say, according to experts. Who is the experts? Captains and leaders of industry who's arguing on behalf of their class interest. So then they're like, oh, let's bring on one of those experts, CEO of Bank of America, a great spokesperson for the workers.
This is clown shit, man. This is crazy.
So crazy. CJ, you have anything that you want to add? It is like the only thing I can do is laugh because it's so ridiculous. Like this is how crazy. I cope. Like, laughing is how I cope with this shit, guys. But go ahead, CJ.
No, I had similar receipts, but that one kind of put them all together. Like I had those clips that were clipped together, like the longer versions, but I like it better where you can see all of them are doing it. They're all shielding. Nobody is asking the worker. Like, How come no rail worker? How come there's not tons of rail workers? Now, I think they've interviewed one. I think I've seen one. They keep interviewing union bosses as if they represent the rail workers, and when they don't, most of the time they're the ones that's trying to push the rail workers to accept these sellout deals. And we'll go to World Socialist website in just a second that proves that with a couple of articles. Go ahead. Did you have another?
You can share any other receipts you have on this story, and then I have another short story we can do after this. After the rail story. Anything else you want to add, CJ?
Yeah. Let me go to the. Second here. So the World Socialist website, I thought it didn't have it up, but I do have it up already. So right here, just want to read a couple of things here from this item here. Let's put this up. Breaking sales. Let's put that up so I know where to cut. It makes it easier for me to edit, pull clips. All right, so what Biden and Congress move to ban railroad strike reveals. This is important. I'm waiting for them to drop the story about the squad voting for it, but we'll see. The move by Washington to override a clear vote by railroaders to reject a White House brokered contract and impose it unilaterally is a major assault on the basic democratic rights of the working class. It is also a strategic experience, the lessons of which workers must learn. Let's see. After 3 years of endless rounds of government-mandated mediation imposed on railroaders by the Anti-Worker Railroad Labor Act, and after an early settlement that government and union bureaucracy sought to enforce in a vote subject to endless delays and marred by serious irregularities, that is, workers were finally set to launch a national strike on December 9th. That's next week, or a little more than a week, about 10 days from now. Workers face brutal employers who refuse to budge on essential and basic demands, such as paid sick leave. Workers currently have none at all, and scheduling that allows them to spend time with their families. Sorry, let me turn the light up on here so I can see this better. All right, there we go. Instead, the Biden administration and Congress are moving rapidly to ban strike action and impose the deal. Biden announced Monday night that he would seek congressional intervention, and he met with congressional leaders Tuesday morning. A vote in Congress where the move is supported by leadership of both parties could take place as soon as Wednesday morning, and we know that vote has taken place. That was the breaking news, that the squad has voted on it in the House, voted with the for it in the House. The struggle of railroaders to win their demands have proved two fundamental elements of Marxism. This is the reason why I wanted to cover this, which lays at the heart of its theory of class struggle. First, it demonstrates the correctness of the labor theory of value, that the source of all society's wealth is the labor of the working class. That is so important. Let me read that again. And let me actually start here, because we may clip this. The struggle of railroaders to win their demands has proved two fundamental elements of Marxism, which lay at the heart of its theory of class struggle. So this is the first fundamental element of Marxism that is proving. First, it demonstrates the correctness of the labor theory of value, that the source of all society's wealth. Listen to this. The source of all, not some.
Yeah, this is a great article. I need to read
the source of all society's wealth is the labor of the working class. Yes. And the source of profits is the surplus value extracted from the exploitation of workers. This is the economic source of exploitation in capitalist society. There's no way of getting around this. What they did, they cited a long time ago. This vital artery of capitalism can't be left up to some willy-nilly workers. So let's do this Railroad Act. This right here is proving the power that we have to shut this entire nation down and get every single demand. Not a negotiation, Nick. You see this? Yep, the source of all society's wealth is the labor of the working class.
All society's wealth, all of it.
Go ahead, Nick. If you
now do you guys see? And I'll keep it quick, and I'll pass it to you, CJ. Now do you guys see why Republicans and hell, some liberals too, I bet, is all for banning Marxism in schools? You guys see why they had to do this Red Scare to trick the American people to vote against their best interests? That is what capitalism leads you. It leads you to thinking that you're some sort of capitalist. They think you're a capitalist even though you don't own capital. How does that make sense? You're a capitalist with no capital. You're an exploited worker, you mother. That is what the American people have been brainwashed thinking. This is why they don't teach you Marxism. Because if you know what?
Marxism, it's an exploited worker you give a lot of jewels to. An exploited worker you give a car. Exploited worker you give a lot of jewels to, and they don't understand. They're exploited. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna force you guys to use any labels. I like the wide opinions that we get on RBN. But if you're one of the people that upset with the rail management and you tired of workers being screwed, why aren't you a Marxist? This is the only thing I'm just asking. Anyway, go ahead, CJ. Just ask yourself that question as you read this stuff. Do you agree with what this person is saying here? I'm not saying you had to call yourself a Marxist. You had to go full-fledged. You had to get the fucking commie flag like we have. But at least be supportive of our movement. Help us normalize what being a Marxist is. Because I promise you, the majority of people agree with Marxist tenets. Majority of people, if they read this and they're exposed to this idea, they will be sympathetic to it. That's why I easily converted to Marxism, because even before I called myself a Marxist, I was a Marxist. I read Marxist theory. I'm like, oh shit, this is what I always believed. But now
that's the feeling you have when you read a lot of this. It's a feeling you have. Go ahead, Nick. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's all good. That's my thought. I'll pass to you. CJ.
Yeah. So for those that may not, what I want to just to inspire, just to go check it out. Go beyond what they're telling you about communism, about Marxism. Go beyond what they're telling you. Just go read it for yourself. See what their analysis is. The reason for the attack is for a reason, because capitalists have read all of his books.
Yep.
They know he is spot on. That's the reason why they has to be attacked. They know this. They ain't stupid.
That's why they got killed Marxists in the global South. Why didn't they have to do Operation Condor? Because they know how
the Black Panthers are Marxists.
Yes. Go ahead, CJ.
So
but that's a great point.
Let's go to the other point that the article makes. We'll go to the second point it makes, and then we'll move on, because it's very important that
I'll be right back.
Marxist analysis. Go ahead. Earlier this year, during arguments before a federal mediation board, the railroad arrogantly argued that the railroaders' labor did not contribute to their profit. That is so absurd. But Monday, 400 businesses groups penned a letter demanding Congress act to prevent a strike, warning warning of apocalyptic economic consequences if railroaders stop working. Now, let's pause there and examine that. This is so important. Earlier this year, during arguments before a federal mediation board, so a mediation board, a mediation between the union and the workers and the company, arrogantly argued that the workers, the railroaders, their labor, they didn't contribute to their profits. How ridiculous is that? That's what they said. But this past Monday, 400 business groups penned a letter demanding Congress act to prevent a strike, warning that an apocalyptic economic consequences if those workers stop working. How can both be true? How can that be true? Let's see here. Let's go to this next part. Let me scroll down. This is just amazing. And I love this article. But in the United States, the most socially unequal of all the advanced economies, cults of personalities are developed around celebrity billionaires who are promoted as job creators. And I would add in politicians like AOC and all of them. I would add them into this cult of personalities are developed around celebrity. Instead of billionaires, we can just insert politicians. But all of these people are socially useless. The country can function without them, but not without the railroaders, without the workers. So key. Love this article. It is no accident that the most profitable industry in the U.S. is also home to some of the worst working conditions. Through continuous job cuts, forced overtime, and other methods, massive levels of surplus value are pumped out of railroaders' labor by the hedge fund managers and billionaires who own the industry. This profit is turned finance stocks buybacks. This profit in turn finances stock buybacks and other speculative and parasitic activity. Love it. Parasitic activity. Secondly, this is the second thing, and then we'll close this, Nick. But this is so important for our audience and for us to discuss.
This is a great article. Well,
yes.
Just for the new viewers, can you say? I see a few people asking, what article is this and where it's from?
Oh, let me go back up.
Just for people who just tuned in.
This is the name of the article, and the website is wsws.org. Very easy. wsws.org. And it's like the second or third article on the front page. So yeah, so let's scroll back down. I still have that highlighted. That's so important. Right here. Second, it proves the character of the state as an instrument of class rule. Oh my God. That I just want to take a moment here because that is so poignant to me, Nick. Go ahead.
And that's such a good point. This is why Marx explained that class antagonisms, the battle between the ruling class and the working class, cannot be rectified through capitalist electoral politics and through capitalist governments. Anyway, continue, CJ, because that's such a good point.
Because the point that is being made is that the state, and this is why communism preaches a stateless class, because the state is what's being used to solve the dispute between the worker and the owner. And the state is always siding with the owner class. And then let's use this. Let me go to this quote. Quote, the executive of the modern state, end quote. Marx wrote more than 150 years ago, quote, is but a committee for managing the common affairs of the whole bourgeoisie, end quote. Both parties are coming together with record speed. I was going to say that too. Like, I'm pausing here in the article and I'll read this last two paragraphs. Record speed. I never seen nobody come to no legislation and them get that shit out. I thought the Ukraine shit was fast. This shit right here, Nick. Both parties are coming together with record speed to force through an agreement rejected by workers. Even the social war atmosphere in Washington, where the bulk of Republicans supported an attempted coup to keep Trump in power, has so far proven to be no barrier to bipartisan unity. And I can stop there because it just keeps going on and on. So I'll stop there. Yeah, I'll just stop there. So it's a great article. Go check it out. The Marx's analysis, though, is such a thing that we need to point out for people to see that. You see how they're saying the entire nation would be shut down economically, it would be a catastrophe. So why isn't the approach, Nick, then why don't you fucking owners give them whatever the fuck they want so this shit don't go down? Exactly. Why isn't that the reply? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. I'll pass it to you for any last words.
That's a great segment. We can wrap there. That was a great segment. And that article is good. And the reason why it's powerful is that they do a great job at explaining Marxist principles in a way that anyone can understand. I could be guilty of this sometimes as well. You see a lot of these like Twitter comments, they put tweet out that's super complicated, like, oh, we need to reach ordinary people. You can't go over their heads too fast. So that's an article that does a good job breaking it down for people, no matter what your level of understanding is. But anyway, I'm gonna read just a few of these super chats. Yeah, and then, unless you have anything else on the real deal, we can. I want to do that story that we didn't do Monday about the Ukraine aid. If you're good with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Absolutely.
I didn't start the chat. So let me read the last. Oh, we got Roman House. What's good, bro? What's good, Rome? Always good when Rome drops by on this. What's good, homie?
I think it's caught me. I was trying to hurry up, but man, all I want to say
wait till you're ready. My bad.
Yeah, man. I just want to say chugga. Better get on the general strike chain, motherfucker. But it's fucked up though. But we seen this coming. What the hell can they do?
Yeah.
So they sold us out. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Ron.
Are you still doing your thing? You want us to put you in the back? You want us to put you in the back so you can finish?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just rolling up.
Good? Okay, cool.
Yeah. I'm gonna read a few super chats that I saw pop up during that segment. Thank you for the 199. RBN is my daily dose of realness. Appreciate it. That means a lot because that's exactly what we are trying. We're trying to be different than these frauds, right? But anyway, thank you for the $2, Big Chiba. I think this is in response to my question. He said Fraud Squad, don't mess with good branding. That's a good point. I can see that. Fraud Squad is a great name for them, so no point of changing that, right? I still like the NATO left. I might throw the NATO left out there every
No, that's a great name.
I think Fraud Squad and NATO left are the two best ones. I don't know. Let's see. Did I read this one already? I don't think I did. Anyway, fuck it. Infuriating seeing people who were so concerned about our democracy during midterm not give a shit about the strike busting. That is such a great point. Because this is a point that Richard Wolff makes all the time. He said, why is there democracy in terms of electoralism, but not the workplace? It's a brilliant point. So now you got the politicians who claim they believe in democracy shutting down the democracy and the tensions in the workplace. That is anti-democracy. Anyway, that's a great point I got to expand on later. Thank you for the super chat.
And there has to be that we have to make this point. I forgot to make it earlier.
Yeah, go ahead.
They were going to do this the whole time, Nick, and they didn't want to do this before midterms. So that's why they pretended to do that tentative deal. We have to understand how sinister these people are, Roman, Nick.
Yep.
They literally knew that this was going to happen. They know about this law. They knew they were going to make in the owners. This is why the owners are not budging, because the owners know that what did Mark say? The people who are managing, they're just simply here managing. I guess I lost the spot, but they're just simply here managing the affairs of the capitalist class. They already going to do it, and the capitalists already knew that. So what did Joe Biden do? Joe Biden pretended that there was a tentative deal so that it can get through the midterms, so that them forcing them back would not happen during the midterms. Because think about this, Nick. What if this happened during the midterms? What do you think would have happened? Wouldn't they have been wiped out? You see all the lies they had to tell to get people to just barely not lose, to have a landslide. They had to tell a bunch of lies about the student loan debt, about the pardoning marijuana users. Nobody was in jail. About the IRA, that bill is not a climate bill. Like all these things about this tentative deal with the rail workers, they are just lying to get you to vote. And then they want to go, the young people really came out for us because you were lying to them. Because you were lying to them. That's why. I'm done, man. I could keep going.
Yeah, I want to show you guys something else I almost forgot to get to. Just real quick, final funny note on the rail strike story. I'm going to ask you guys this question. You guys know how many unlimited paid sick days that Congress gets? Unlimited. They get as many as they want. I kind of spoiled it when I asked the question. But Congress gets unlimited amount of sick days. Meanwhile, here they are being scabs, undermining the workers who asked for 15 paid sick days. And now the progressives are being scabs and trying to get 7 paid sick days in for them. And now I saw this tweet not too long ago. I thought this was funny. A funny way to end the segment. Watching Congress debate giving rail workers 7 paid sick days. And one of the Republicans who was backing the bill is out sick with COVID. Peter, he's one of the people that's trying to undermine the workers, is out sick because he had COVID. Can't write this shit. Clown shit. Anyway, that's a funny way to end the segment.
Oh man, go ahead, Nick. Let's do another announcement while you get your story set.
Yeah. And we got 2 more super chats that came in too.
Okay, go ahead with the super chats.
I appreciate all the support, guys. We're getting a lot of super chats today. I started. Let me find out. I started 2. So we got 2 more super chats. Keep up the support, guys. We appreciate it. This from Historic Raider for $5. Our leader sold out workers in the people Arizona. They sold water rights to Saudis. Thank you for the $5. Here's another one from Carolyn Mays. They afraid of the paid scabs and what happens to the Reagan air traffic controllers. Once again, great. Thank you for super chat, guys. I'll pass to you, CJ, so you can do the announcements.
Yeah, we're sitting at 480 likes. Can you go ahead and like the stream? Let's see if we can push to 525. We're approaching 600 viewers. If you can get us to 525 in likes, I'm sure that'll push us over 600 viewers for the rest of the segments that we have for you. We have a couple of good stories coming up, so let me actually go over some of the other stories, and then we'll do a couple of other announcements. But Eric Adams goes after mentally ill, and it's pretty disgusting. Twitter disinformation policy discontinue. I mean, we can just talk about that if we get to that. Everybody hates Biden. Just showing a couple of tweets, maybe just showing how everybody is going after Biden, at least yesterday. Then, of course, we're going to get to the video where Tezlyn and Briahna destroy the progressive. It's only an 8-minute video, but so we got that segment. And then if we have time, Taiwan, Nick, I don't know if you saw it. Taiwan votes for one China. So I want to get to that story too. Hopefully, if we can get to it. So, help us get to 520. That'll probably get us over 600. Join our Substack. I don't know if I brought this up earlier. If you're watching this on replay or you're just joining us an hour and 15 minutes in and you wish you were here earlier, if you join our Substack, you will get notifications. Generally 30 minutes, but Nick and CJ, I usually send at least an hour or more. You'll get a notification. Nick, Rome's phone keeps dropping, so he'll be back. Don't worry. So like the stream. Also, this is where we were the last time you and I did a stream. Let's see where we're at now. Keep subscribing. The goal is to get to 30,000. This is where we were the last time Nick and I streamed. And now let me give you the update. We got maybe 20 more people, something like that, 50 more people who just recently added. If you subscribe, you're able to comment. So that is one perk for the live stream. All right, Nick, I'll pass it to you for the next segment, sir.
So do you guys remember when we covered this story of Europe is starting to have enough of the U.S. obvious grift? Now, obviously, there's a few cowards who go along with it, but the fact that you even see leaks like this happen, I covered the leaks that Politico reported as well of NATO members who are not American questioning the decisions of the United States of having NATO focus their war on China. So you're starting to see the cracks form in this transatlantic alliance. Meanwhile, BRICS is going strong. Just throw that out there. So Europe accuses U.S. of profiting from war. This is a story we reported on. Now, there's a few things I want to add to this story, which is very interesting. This is Zelensky, the biggest grifter of all time. Zelensky says rebuilding Ukraine will cost more than $1 trillion. And he wants the West to help. Zelina said they want sanctions on Russia to help rebuild Ukraine. Zelensky's begging for donations. Meanwhile, why no one bringing the fact who's going to rebuild Syria, Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan? You guys know how they never mentioned rebuilding those states? So yeah, Zelensky with his handout and the Western oligarchs who are becoming rich, their friends are becoming rich, are going along with it. In Europe, they see what's going on. We see what's going on despite the censorship from the mainstream media. There have been massive protests in France and Germany. I don't know if you saw this, CJ, but look at this. There was an artist in France that drew this. You see Zelensky draining all their money. I don't know if you guys see it. That's
I can see his face.
He drew. That's so amazing. They drew that.
Oh, he put that on the street.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is dope.
And it said Black Hole Zelensky on the streets of France. French artists have painted a hyper-realistic portrait of the leader of the Kiev regime. That's a funny caption. Hello, France, give me all your money. So it's something that's beyond obvious that this Ukraine war is not about protecting Ukrainian people. It's about making the oligarchs rich. It's about funneling money to the military-industrial complex and upholding U.S. Western hegemony. Now, you had the midterms, and now Kevin McCarthy is House Speaker. And because the far right in the Republican Party, unlike the quote-unquote progressives in the Democrat Party, they actually want to push their leaders. They're actually trying to win. The progressive left try to lose. The right tries to win. So they were pushing Kevin McCarthy to put basic auditing on the Ukraine aid. And this led to Democrats and the corporate media melting down. Now, look at this short story. I think it's funny, though. This is the story that we didn't get to cover on Monday. Biden administration scrambles to track $20 billion in Ukraine as House Republicans warn of audit. And look at this. Biden's administration reportedly inspected just 10% of the weapons going to Ukraine. This is the corruption that the NATO left voted for. You have weapons flooded the black market in Eastern Europe. But then Democrats want to say we're against gun violence. You got Nazis that's going to be on for years because of the lack of accountability. And I'm going to ask you guys this question. Actually, not even a question. Do you guys really think the United States cared about accountability throughout this? They knew the market was going to be flooded. They don't care because Raytheon and Boeing get their money. So
they're not going to get killed. They just workers around the world will get killed. They know that.
And this is, and I want to emphasize this too, because Republicans have gone along with the Ukraine money laundering scheme as well. They're doing this to make Biden look bad because they want to say, "Oh, look, Biden didn't track the money. He's not being smart with the money." But a lot of them still support Ukraine aid. To be fair, now let's get to I'll read the first two paragraphs.
I don't expect this money. I don't expect them to actually audit anybody in the Democratic Party and hold any one of these people accountable. Like, we already know people accountable, especially at as a president. Like, you're not going to hold a president accountable. You guys are going to make this going to be their new episode of their political theater. They're going to run and jump and hop and sing for us, but at the end of the day, nobody's going to actually face any consequences.
So I actually, when I first read this article, I never watched the videos. So I actually did not watch this video, but I'm going to play it. This is interesting. Going for a minute. Look at the sub headline here. So I did not watch this video. Let's see what they say. It said, remember, this is from Fox News. And if you watch Fox News, I do upload research on them regarding Ukraine too. That is why I don't buy this narrative that Republicans are against it, because they do Ukraine propaganda the same way MSNBC and CNN does. Look at the sub headline here, and this is what sparked my interest in at least dive into this video. Look, Putin weaponizing winter. Putin is a great weather sorcerer. Putin weaponizing the cold.
Who's this nigga? Ice King from Adventure Time now?
This motherfucker storm, bro. This motherfucker Sub-Zero apparently. So that's why I literally didn't see this. So I'm kind of improvising here because I'm actually super curious. Like, if I would do my research before the show, I would definitely watch this. But I did not watch. Oh, let's see. We may not watch the whole thing. I want to see the propaganda they attempt to do. If you guys don't mind. What the fuck? Hold up.
Mute.
Yeah, the sound. Is it supposed to have sound? Maybe it's not. I don't know if it's.
Oh, you guys can hear it? Fuck. You guys.
Yeah.
Can... What the fuck? I thought I turned the sound on. Oh, let me fix it. Fuck.
Mike got or Nick got that fancy mic.
Dude, I don't know why you be messing up. I don't know why you be messing up sometimes. I swear I did everything right that time. But anyway, let's try it again.
War in Ukraine.
There we go. We can hear it.
Retired Lieutenant General and Fox News contributor Keith Kellogg. General, thanks for being here. I want to show our viewers just the amazing space images we have of the power outage Greg was talking about. You can see Ukraine there in the middle of the screen. Dark. Really, really dark. General, it seems Vladimir Putin is weaponizing winter to make Ukrainian civilians really suffer.
Yeah, Griff, thanks for having me. Look, I just talked to somebody today on Odessa and down here, and they've got 1/3 of the power right now in the city. You look at it, Kyiv, got 1/3.
Just real quick. You see how they acknowledge something I brought up on this show multiple times to debunk the knowledge, the idea that the people waging war care about the Ukrainian people? How are you guys winning when the Ukrainians in Russian territory actually have power and heat while you guys don't? How is that? And you watch the segment literally after this, and they will say, well, Russia's getting their ass kicked. But Ukraine's victory is directly dependent on the fact whether they get weapons and how long can their citizens uphold this barrage by Russia and the fact they don't have energy and power. They want to sacrifice Ukrainians. You had Zelensky that said that Ukrainians are willing to be cold. They want to burden the harsh winters for the next 2 to 3 years. You guys see how they're admitting that this war is horrific for the Ukrainians, but they don't care. I think that's interesting. Let me continue the video. Like I didn't see this yet, so let's continue.
They said if you could turn it up, I don't know if you have it all the way up, but the couple of comments said if you can turn the volume up. On the
Yeah,
video.
I think the video just kind of low.
It could be just an old quality, bad quality sound.
Yeah. I need to get one of those apps that help me increase the audio, but I got all my shit maxed. So I won't watch too much of it. I just want maybe the next 30 seconds because I think they already made a point that I think is interesting, where they openly admitting that Ukrainians are suffering because of this war, but they want to keep the war going forever. What does that tell you guys? So I'll just watch a little bit more of it and I'll get back to the main point.
Kyiv got 1/3 of the power in Kyiv as well. And you saw in that picture from the overhead how dark it is. I mean, it looks like not just a third or fourth world country. And that's all because of what Putin is doing. And Putin is targeting infrastructure, civilian infrastructure, not military, and he's targeting civilians. But I think he's making a huge mistake. All this is doing is increasing the resolve of Ukrainian civilians and their military and their government.
Bruh, I cannot emphasize how much it's psychotic. Because if you watch a lot of these segments, you will see them use the same term. Ukrainians, they're hardening their resolve. How do you guys know that? Do you guys talk to every fucking Ukrainian? There are Ukrainians just suffering who want this conflict to end. That's why Zelensky won, because he won on a peace platform. There are Ukrainians that just want this shit to end. But what I hear constantly, because I'm trying to explain to you, I know you guys don't watch corporate news like I do. What they keep saying constantly, well, Putin making a mistake. The only thing they're gonna do is increase the resolve of the Ukrainians by making their life harder. And then the West, the people in the West, they'll say, "Oh my God, the Ukrainian people are so brave. They are sacrificing so much so we can defeat Russia." They will say this all the time, but then they will look at us and say and pretend that we don't care about Ukrainian people. Do you guys see how these people, the people who want to go Russia, they literally do not care about the Ukrainian people? Go ahead, CJ.
I was gonna say a good analogy that what I'm envisioning is that have you two, Rome or Nick, have you ever seen a fight or been in a fight or seen a fight where there's a person is about to fight somebody maybe, but they have a friend behind them pushing them. Come on, man, hit him! Like, look, you hear what he said about you? Go, yeah, like, but the friend that's pushing him ain't the one about to get his ass whooped. He ain't the one that's about to catch these punches, catch these kicks to the gut. That's what the United States is doing. They're the ones that's pushing the person. Hey, yeah, go ahead, do this fight. They're not going to have any of the injuries at all.
Yeah.
And I love that they bringing up the winner, because they're going to try to pull out every excuse of why they can't pull off the right propaganda of Ukraine winning, right? Because this winter is going to be hard. We know damn near nobody can fight Russia in a winter. And to say that he's weaponized, I think Ukraine and Russia damn near got the same weather. They get the same type of weather. So, you know.
Yeah, that's a great point, Rob, because we all knew this was coming. CJ, what did we say months ago when people say Russia is losing? I'm like, what's gonna happen in the winter? Every single Ukraine flag account was ignoring that. Meanwhile, we will bring this up months. Literally in the summer, I was like, okay, what are you guys gonna do in 5 months? They was like, nah, nigga, we be good. Nigga. We don't give a fuck about no winter, nigga. Fuck that winter, nigga. We be good. Yep. Meanwhile, when the winter hits, and now they're like, Putin is weaponizing the weather. What do you guys think was gonna happen? We told you guys. That's why you have to negotiate, because you're not going to beat Russia in the winter. Ask the Nazis how that went. You guys see how these people lack thinking? You had the NATO left cheering this on. We got to stand up with the Ukrainian people because they might be able to beat Russia, even though the winter is coming. We warned you guys this months ago. Months ago, I did statements about this.
The winter is coming, and 300,000 Russian troops are on the way, and I don't see them getting out of this. I see this end up being a clean sweep.
Yeah.
I think Russia is getting ready to sweep this up, getting ready to end this or getting ready to go to the next foe. Because Ukraine doesn't even have an army.
So I'm gonna get to the last part now. I can wrap this segment up.
Just us.
I'm gonna get to the last part. I kind of went off the rails, but I'm gonna get back to the main story, and then we can wrap this up. And I'll pass to you, CJ. I don't know. I'm not really sure why they play that video, because that video not really related to the story. I thought it would be kind of, but it's still interesting because you see them acknowledging something that are being said a long time ago. And now, instead of acknowledging that this is because they're tactical failing, they're now blaming Putin for being some sort of weather sorcerer, even though everyone knew winter was coming. Anyway, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read a little bit of this paragraph so you guys can see the clown shit going on. I think literally reading the first few paragraphs will say anything, right? The Biden administration is scrambling to track nearly $20 billion in military aid is sent to Ukraine as Republicans warn of impending audits when they take control of the House in January. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy has said his party would not be giving Ukraine a blank check to fend off Russia's invasion. A potential audit will determine how much, if any, of the U.S. aid is ending up in the wrong hands. You guys see how this is the part that makes them panic. The U.S. Any audit that makes sure that people are not illicitly benefiting from this war, like they currently are. There have been reports of Ukrainian government officials buying real estate in Switzerland, in Sweden. Nigga, they know Ukraine is going down. They know it is. And then when it goes down, they're going to get their mansion in Sweden and Switzerland, and they're out of there. Anyway, let me continue to make this segment a little bit shorter.
I don't think Putin's going to let him live. I honestly don't. I think he's going to get him.
Yeah, Zelensky fucked up because I don't know if you know, early in the war,
like, you sure it's going to be Putin though? Well, I was thinking it was going to be the United States or somebody on his side from the Nazi group. That's what I was thinking. Go ahead.
A theory I have, and once again, hint, only theory. Once the West start losing support for this war, Zelensky might go. And then they're going to say Russians killed Zelensky, that's why we got to escalate war. Once again, that's just a theory. I got no evidence for that. I'm telling you, that is a very distinct possibility. And Russia, and to my point I was about to make earlier where you said Rome, Ukraine in the West really fucked up because what the mainstream media didn't tell you, when the war first started, Putin said that he's okay with Zelensky maintaining power. Do you guys know that? I listened to his speeches. None of the corporate media covered that. The first month or two, he says Zelensky can maintain leadership as long as he stopped NATO expansion, as long as he stopped being puppet of the West. Then Putin gave a speech maybe a few weeks ago where he said, yeah, that's y'all at the table now. No. You could maintain power, Zelensky. But you sold out your people. You became puppet of the West. Now you got to go one way or another. Either in the casket or you leaving. So that's to your point, Rome. I'm going to read just a few more of these paragraphs and I'll pass it to you for your story, CJ. It said the Republican... Oh, what did I leave up? Yeah, I left off right here. The Biden administration previous tracking efforts have expected only a fraction of the aid provided to the country. Bernie has no questions about that, though, apparently. The Republican push to ramp up oversight enjoys some bipartisan support in Congress. Some staunch Ukraine allies fear the party will cut off aid to the country entirely. Good. So now, this is the present part. This is the last part I read of this article. Marjorie Taylor Greene has vowed to hold our government accountable for Ukraine spending. Why am I forced to read that sentence? You know what I would like to read? I would like to read AOC said she's gonna make sure she hold the U.S. government accountable, but I can't do that. Unfortunately, we gotta say Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing it.
I believe we are seeing in real time, just like when the Democrats and Republicans switch sides and switch powers. I believe this is what we are witnessing now, especially with this war going on, petrodollar is falling, and a lot of Republicans seem to be flanking a lot of Democrats to the left. You know, like what the fuck? This horrible person just said something I agree with. Like, holy fuck, yeah. So I think it's a change of party, especially with the Democrats basically holding on to corporations so tightly like this. They pushing people towards the Republican Party. And the Republican Party is going to be the worker party next. So I can see them changing more.
CJ, last thoughts on this segment?
Just a few thoughts. General strike, absolutely. What's up, Cat? Regular. 20 billion. What could have been done with the 20 billion? Like, what could have been done? And why aren't they sending these packages to the people to get them money directly to help them during these times? It's just going to weapons manufacturers to supposedly fight a war. Do we know that this is NATO fighting a war, which is the U.S.? Like
Yeah.
Ukraine lost this shit a long time ago.
Ukraine
This is the
been
reason why
lost.
they have to keep funding. This is the reason why money, because it's only us that's doing this. That's my
we
final
already seen, even through the crypto scams, that these Democrats and some Republicans was actually getting their money back from Ukraine through crypto and whatnot. They was washing that money, and of course it's corruption, but who's gonna really hold them accountable? Who's gonna actually do a damn thing about it? That's the question. Like, yeah, you can say whatever the hell you want. You know, we had all types of politicians threatening the government, from Bernie Sanders to Mitch McConnell. But have they ever held any of these people accountable that they went after? Have they ever? Like, no. So I won't hold my breath on this. It's gonna be one of the reasons why we're gonna stop sending money to Ukraine. But all in reality, all these people got what they wanted. They washed so much fucking money, billions and billions of dollars, down there $1 trillion now. They washed so much money that we will never get back, and the game is up now. You know, they seeing that they can't win. The game is up.
Yeah, this last 2 hour read, I'll pass to you, CJ, because this is a great point to end the segment on. This is Black and Empire friend of the show, anti-establishment veteran, banger tweets regarding you calling out the U.S. empire all the time. So he says Ukraine ran out of money and weapons months ago, and if it weren't for NATO, this war would be over, or they'd be left with a few soldiers throwing rocks. This war, as we mentioned before, is between Russia and NATO. Ukraine is just a place the U.S. chose for people to die, and NATO can't even beat Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, pass.
And they trying to go at China, which is just insane to go at China at the same time. This is what NATO, but this is what's, isn't there there's a discrepancies within NATO where like, what the fuck? You trying to go after NATO and China? What kind of crazy shit is this?
The fact that they even wrote that story, it shows that there are a lot of people who thinking that. Some guy leaked to the Politico that a lot of people concerned about this new NATO 2030 strategy that I've been breaking down for months on the show. They're like, what? Nigga, this will be a transatlantic alliance. Why the fuck are we in the Pacific Ocean? That's literally a quote from one of the EU chiefs. And once again, these people are not Marxists or socialists by any stretch of the imagination. Even they, members of NATO, who are far away from me on the political compass, right? Because they're NATO. Even they are like, hey, U.S. lost their goddamn mind
on this shit.
And one of the quotes, let's see if I can find it. It don't matter if I find it, but one of the quotes literally said that some people are now rethinking the alliance with the United States now. How many BRICS members are rethinking their alliance?
Man.
Just saying. Anyway, really final thoughts. CJ, Ron, go ahead.
Yeah, damn it. Brain fart. Fuck, go ahead.
I talk too much. That's my bad. That's my bad. Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, so let's do a couple of announcements and then we'll get to the next story. It's a short video. It's about an 8-minute video where Tezlyn takes apart the progressive. So we did it kind of backwards intentionally. The first story, the rail story, is kind of an example of how the squad is the con. The con game segment, which is coming up, was actually the original segment that we were going to do as a main story, but that we had to cover the other part. So let's like the stream. Last time I checked, we're at 550 likes. We hit 600 viewers. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can go to 600 likes. Go ahead, Ron. Go ahead.
NATO fear losing this power because they know that they will be prosecuted. I said it on a stream with JB that, you know, the power that they have to kill Gaddafi, you know, bomb Africa and go unchecked and unchallenged on that, you know, them losing power around the world makes them vulnerable for prosecution. And we see how Russia and China prosecute people when they commit war crimes or even crimes against workers. You know, they will take your business, they will take your life, you know, and these people are fearing losing that power that they had to go and just do whatever the hell they wanted to around the world unchallenged. So
that's actually a great point. I'm glad you interrupted me to make that, because that is a great point, that NATO losing its grips mean that some heads will be rolling, some
Yeah. Oh,
guillotines
yeah.
will be falling. You get what I'm saying? I mean, if there's any justice for these imperialist people who are literally murdering people by the millions,
Yeah.
and also killing the planet. So
And they know,
at the same
that
time,
they would not, like, no matter how much money and political power that you have over here, if China is calling the shots all over the world and whatnot, and Russia is calling the shots, India, I don't see America even, like, we're gonna have to give up the politicians. We're gonna have to push these people to these people hands, because we don't want any more wars. We don't want any more conflict, and this is what's gonna come down to. You know, the superpowers basically, like, you know, give us the people so they can be dealt with. And it's a good thing, though, at the end of the day, because their wealth can be redistributed throughout the people. So
I feel you. All right, so let me finish the announcements, and then we'll get to that next story, which is the brief story. So also, I said like our stream. Let's try to push to 600. Join our Substack if you need notifications of when we go live. You're watching this on replay and you wish you saw this live, or you just now getting here an hour and 40 minutes in and you wish you were here earlier. Join our Substack. You'll get notifications. This is our subscriber count. If or subscribe if you're brand new. If you've been a subscriber, make sure you double check, because YouTube will unsubscribe you. Again, let's try to get to 600 likes for the stream. And the next story is kind of a short story, but I'm sure all of us will kind of have something to say. Nick, we're gonna revisit your buddy over at Rise and and talk to him about, where is it at? And talk to, oops, did I put the wrong one in? Oh yeah, no, here it goes. And talk to him about him and Bree.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Bree bring on Tezlyn before?
Oh yeah, she's been on him several times, like 6 or 7, 8 times.
This is the second video I've seen from her. The first video I saw, I was extremely impressed. So Bree brought her back, and I didn't see the video. I was waiting to get my live reaction since I knew you was gonna cover it. So this will be the first time I see it. I'm looking forward to it. Go ahead, CJ.
Oh, this is gonna be good for you. So let me know, since you didn't see it. I know you're gonna be having me. I know you're gonna want to.
Yeah, I knew we was gonna. I already knew you had a statement prepared, so I'll go raw. I'll get my raw reaction to it. But go ahead.
Love it. All right, so let's go.
On January 3rd, when the next Congress will assemble, Republicans are expected to have 222 seats in the House, compared to an estimated 213 seats for Democrats. A new Republican House Speaker will need to be elected, and the GOP only has 4 Republican votes to spare. Current House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy has already announced his bid for Speaker, but faces pushback from 5 members of his own party, including Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, who said,
"This is what's called force the vote on the Speaker." This is what this is called. This is what I initially thought I was going to be watching when I started watching this. I'm like, okay, this is what force the vote looks like for those. Oh, let me see what it should look like. This is what it should look like and what you should extract.
they know what it looked like. They just don't want to make their favorite politicians look bad, or hold them accountable in any way. And that takes work. And that is one thing that these people are not willing to do. They are willing to put other people in place to promise you something that they know that you won't be able to get.
So as someone who haven't watched this video, I'm looking forward to this, because you know for a fact that Bree was waiting for this motherfucking story. Bree has been arguing with these boutique leftists that still like her and they still in their social circle, right? Like David Schroeders and all those people. Like, she's been arguing with these people about force to vote for like 2 years now. So you know that she can't wait to do that. That's why I can't wait to see this. Go ahead, CJ.
That's good.
McCarthy lacks credibility across every spectrum of the GOP and is not a capable fighting force for the American people.
Representatives Ralph Norman of South Carolina and Andy Biggs of Arizona are 2 other hard no's. Bob Good of Virginia and Matt Rosendale of Montana have also voiced dissent, but could still be persuaded. Joining us now to discuss is host of Straight Shot No Chaser podcast, Tezlyn Figaro. Welcome, Tezlyn.
Thank you so much. Always glad to be here.
Great to have you. So now their demands are not very specific from what I can tell, and I frankly don't quite agree that Kevin McCarthy is not I don't know, an effective advocate of conservative positions. I think he's done a better job than Mitch McConnell actually of keeping like all aspects of the conservative movement within the fold.
Robbie, we love you, man. Come on, man. Come on. But go ahead.
It is interesting to see, some Republicans actually demanding something of this would-be speaker and trying to get some kind of concessions. Something I understand is maybe a little less common, or has been in the past, not so common on the Democratic side.
Yeah, it's not common at all. Let's not beat around the bush. You know, I'm an independent, so I can't, it doesn't matter what I think, you know, who should lead the Democrat or the Republican Party, but let's just call, you know, balls and strikes. Once again, the Republican Party is showing that at least, you know, somebody has the fortitude to speak up and challenge and say, you know, let's not just hand it over to just whoever they select, and let's put some demands on the table, unlike the Democrat Party and particularly progressives. Let's just call it what it is. You know, last year, they were very clear in starting a PAC called Team Blue, Hakeem Jeffries, to basically unseat progressives and to challenge progressives that were going against moderate seats. And now these same progressive leaders that all of the progressives gave your last $2 to, your last $5, crying in the stands, you know, singing as if they were the next coming of Christ, they are sitting back and saying absolutely nothing. This is the time to see who is the real leadership on the left. So shout out to Hakeem Jeffries for, let me use the words of Rick Ross, he is the biggest boss thus far. He is absolutely going for the leadership, and nobody is saying anything at all, and they will not say anything at all. That includes Bernard and everybody that rides with Bernard. The progressives are showing once again a lack of leadership, and I know they'll say that, oh, you know, we're being strategic, but what I have come to realize that to them, strategic means being silent.
There it is. There it is.
Comments so far.
I'm glad I waited to watch this line. It's almost every single thing she said here is brilliant. Like everything. And the point, and I'll pass it to Ron, I think you want to chime in. But she mentioned how that the squad and was taking money, the $2, the $10 from struggling family. And this is a concept that I explained multiple times that once again, the boutique left don't understand. The boutique left that have been obsessed with defending AOC and the squad. They were like, well, they were the best among us. Let's examine that line of thought. What's worse, CJ, in Rome? Taking money from corporations and unapologetically doing their bidding and being like, if you vote for me and you see how much money I take from corporations, that's your fault. Or the politician who say, I'm for the worker. I'm not taking corporate money. I'm going to take your money. I'm going to take your money and then do the interest of the corporate party. Isn't that worse?
That's worse. Instead of taking businesses' money and being corrupt and voting for war, I'm gonna take your money and do the same thing. Because tell me how their votes is different. And you reported on this before. How much like Joe Crowley has AOC been voting like? Very similar. Very, very similar. So, like I said all the time, if you replace every single squad member, what legislation will be different? If you replace every single squad member with a corporate Democrat today, what legislation, what would the vote count? How would the vote count be different? It would be the exact same. But they did it with your money. So winning. We're winning, I guess. I guess that's it.
They took your money and sent it to Ukraine. They took your money. They took your money, and now they're sending your taxpayer money to Ukrainian Nazis. How are you guys not as mad as RBN? But Rome, I think you was gonna chime in, right, Rome?
Oh yeah, and I just know Bree just smiling like a motherfucker in the back.
Yes, he just sitting back
because this could have been us, you know. And people saying, I've seen a couple of people on her tweet talking about, oh, we need leverage. What are you talking about, nigga? That was the leverage. The leverage was Nancy Pelosi not being speaker again, or threatening her job, you know, doing your job and throwing a monkey wrench in the Democratic Party, being the you know what I'm saying, the Tea Party of the left, or whatever the fuck you guys is calling yourselves at that time. But we couldn't get anything out of you guys for excuses. We couldn't get anything out of your the people that follow these politicians but excuses. And it's funny how we see Republicans do it with just a slim majority, and they don't even, and shit haven't even been set in stone yet. It's not even January yet, and they already like, this is, it's pitiful. It's
Yeah,
pitiful.
they like,
but-
nigga, don't even come over here. Don't even look our way for no vote. Don't even look this way unless you come here for some, like, what's this? Right here, man. Pay up. Like, I don't understand why can't the progressives do that? It's because we live in a center-right, far-right country where it's a ratchet effect. Anything to the left is getting stopped by every single body here, including the people who are supposedly left. And let's get back to the video. Unless you had a
They play like they're leftists, so they won't get canceled, so they won't get called out, for their actual prejudice. They don't fucking give a motherfuck, man. These same people who was, saying Black Lives Matter, turned around and said defund the police was too, the slogan. Like, what the fuck? Like, y'all, it's always an excuse and it's always a but. Remember that stripper ass, right? That stripper's ass that they always throw in the middle of your conversation. Always a fucking butt. So fuck these people, bro, because they only using us to make themselves look better. Because let's be real, if we was to, treat white liberals and white leftists the way they should be treated, call them out for the racism that's really on the left and the liberal spaces, nigga, white people will have. That's their last face, bro. That's their last good face, so-called, in America and across the world. It's the liberal spaces. It's the leftist spaces. If we was to be like, look, all you motherfuckers got something fucked up with you, they'd be like, oh, no. But we care. But you don't care enough to vote for my people. You keep on putting people in power that's sending cops to my community.
Right.
They passing... I would be damned if I get killed by the police and they pass a Ron Bethia Act. And that act gives the police more money. That's what they did with George Floyd. You guys put those people in power that did that. You guys put those people in power that kneeled. while we still getting our ass beat and they have no repercussions for the same police. They like, okay, yeah, we care about y'all. Here's $2 billion, $200 billion. Here's some more fucking money. Nigga, fuck y'all niggas, bro. Fuck y'all niggas, dog. Because y'all...
Real talk.
Malcolm X, he will always be right about this. And I hate when people say, liberals are the closest to leftists. Liberals are the closest to communists. No. Liberals gave you Hitler. Liberals gave you Joe Biden. We are nothing like these people. Nowhere near close. On a political scale, conservatives and Republicans, yes, they might be closer to some certain communists because most of us just are the working class and we just want better for workers. And that's why we can connect with Republicans faster than we can connect with these fucking liberals because they so out of touch. But let me stop right. Go ahead.
Let's go.
Yeah, so, we've all been alluding to this, but there was a moment 2 years ago that was described as the force the vote moment, where Democrats were in the same position Republicans are in now, where because the majority was so narrow and because you need 218 votes to confirm a speaker, the handful of squad members, the 4 to 8 of them, depending on how you count, have the power to actually hold up confirming Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House in exchange for any number of concessions, including committee appointments. We saw people like Katie Porter, who's been a very effective advocate for kind of populist economic policies, taxes on the rich, et cetera, get pushed out of the Financial Services Committee. They could have demanded all kinds of things, including a floor vote on Medicare for All, which was some of the progressives were talking about at the time. And they simply did not. They simply did not. And now when I have interviewed various progressives like Ro Khanna about whether or not they look back and have regrets or why it is that Jeffries is now in a position where he isn't being challenged by any progressives for leadership, they're giving the same excuse they gave 2 years ago, which is that just nobody's ready. We haven't prepared. We haven't had anybody positioning themselves in this way. And I wonder what you make of that. At a certain point, should progressives be looking to these people as leaders? At what point does it seem like almost like a planned ineptitude versus making genuine mistakes? Because they've had a lot of time to plan at this point.
Yeah, let's just be clear. This is a con game. I'll go ahead and say it. It's a con game. Bottom line, progressives love talking about Democrats and moderates and, oh, you Democrats, oh, you neoliberals, you don't get it. You just blinded. No, so are you progressives. It is a con game. They have showed you time and time again that it's been all about funneling your money up and selling you a dream. My problem is not that that I don't understand strategy. I run a strategic communications firm. I get strategy. I understand that things take time. My problem is, Bree, that they went out and lied to these people. They went out and lied to the progressive movement. They lied to folks who were poor, middle class, working class, and promised them a dream. I cannot stand a voluntary lie, whether that's Biden who volunteered to pass black people that nobody asked him to do.
That's such a black thing.
I told y'all didn't see this. I'm back here like, holy shit.
Lie.
Nigga, I'm back here like, nigga, she's killing this shit. I did not see this. Holy, keep playing. Holy shit. I could not say it better than this. I literally could not even say it better than this shit. Go ahead.
I got it. I'm gonna start it. Not the whole thing, but just her part. Just her part. Yeah.
And I gotta absorb it. I gotta completely absorb everything she says. This is so amazing. Go ahead.
Because they've had a lot of time to plan at this point.
Yeah, let's just be clear. This is a con game. I'll go ahead and say it. It's a con game. I'm lying. Progressives love talking about Democrats and moderates and, oh, you Democrats, oh, you neoliberals, you don't get it. You're just blinded. No, so are you progressives. It is a con game. They have showed you time and time again that it's been all about funneling your money up and selling you a dream. My problem is not that that I don't understand strategy. I run a strategic communications firm. I get strategy. I understand that things take time. My problem is, Bree, that they went out and lied to these people. They went out and lied to the progressive movement. They lied to folks who were poor, middle class, working class, and promised them a dream. I cannot stand a voluntary lie, whether that's Biden who volunteered to pass to have the back of black people that nobody asked him to do, whether it is the progressives, Bernard Sanders, and everybody else that had people crying in the stands, giving their last $2, whether it is on the Trump side of selling people on hopes and dreams of some magical wall that would be paid for by Mexico. I cannot stand the volunteer lie. These people know exactly what they're doing. They're worse than the moderates because you're taking the last $2 from the poor and working class, knowing damn well that once you get in the office, you're going to flip the script. And that's the problem that I have. Why not run on the truth? Why not run on the fact that saying, hey, we're going to get in, it's going to take us time. But they did not do that. They sold a hope and dream and a con game. And that is why I have such an issue with the progressive movement.
Say it, sister. Fucking say that shit. Son, that's probably the best rant this year. That's probably, if we had our being award shows, that'd probably be the best rant this year.
We should do that. We should do that.
Never did it again. Right, go ahead.
Hey, DJ, who are that shit?
But she's not done. Let's listen. I think she has.
Oh, man, she's not even done.
Let's listen.
I mean, why not? That is the question. What are they thinking? Is it are they insincere when they say they're committed to these things? Is it it's all about just raising money and then they don't particularly care about supporting a cause? Or they would say they're being more strategic than you, right? That they have some master plan that you're not privy to, or that they have a long-term plan, or there's just
or they just can't defeat,
or they don't know what right they've given up hope Pelosi, that it can work.
Yeah, crap. That's
Nick, I'm preparing you for this next segment.
Oh, it's not even the best part yet?
I'm not gonna characterize it yet, but
all right,
she got some bombs in this one too. So
I'm here for it. But it's no master plan. This is no rubbing of the hands. Oh, I got some master plan. The plan is the con game. Bottom line. This is why I keep trying to tell you, it is important that you get involved on the local and the state level. As far as Congress, it's over with. It's a wrap. Get local and state leadership. When I say local, I'm talking about city commissioners that have executive power to make the decisions, that can make effective change right now in your city. Get on board with folks who are running for state house, a state rep, state senate, that you have a little bit more access to, because as far as Congress is concerned, I think we're behind the ball, and it's too far gone to right the ship. Unless you have that local leadership that is putting pressure on those folks in Congress that say either you do or else, or we're going to make sure that you lose, nothing will ever change. The only thing that a politician's fear is the ability to lose their seat, period. So as long as progressives continue to keep giving their last $2 and $5, I said it last year, Brie, on your podcast, as long as they can continue to give your last $2 and $5, you're going to continue to get played, period. We can see it. Where's Bernard? Paging Bernard. Hello, Bernard, are you around? Why is Bernard not saying anything? At the end of the day, they're going to sit there, they're going to shut up, and shout out to Hakeem Jeffries for showing them exactly how it's done. And that does not mean that I'm supporting him and his policies. What it means is he is literally taking this seat, and every last one of them are saying nothing at all. They're going to sit there, they're going to take it, and they're going to like it.
Yeah, and some people have said that they're afraid that he's actually going to be worse than Nancy Pelosi in some ways. He's very explicit about his commitments, for example, to kind of unlimited funding for Israel. He's referred to Israel as the 6th borough of New York. I mean, he's, as you mentioned, Tezlyn, backed the super PAC that was designed to target progressives and make sure that they don't win elections. I mean, he is you know, the final boss of progressives in a lot of ways in terms of the kind of politician you want to defeat.
And he's about to be in power
kind of
for decades. I'll be real quick. I mentioned this earlier. This dude, 52 years old, the guy that Bree explained, he's going to be in power for decades. And the squad voted unanimously to keep this guy who's anti-progressive in power for decades. And you guys don't think it's a con? Like, if you're going to take a stand on anything, you take a stand on Hakeem Jeffries becoming leader. Because that means you doomed the progressive movement within the Democratic Party for years and years, and for decades. And I told you, CJ, we can do it both ways. I disagree with the strategy of taking over the Democratic Party, right? But if you are for the strategy of taking over the Democratic Party like they are, how is this a smart move? How? It's not, because they don't give a fuck. But go ahead, CJ.
They got theirs. They got theirs.
I just
want to show this comment because that speaks levels, man. Jayla Paul didn't say anything. I haven't heard her say anything because we thought with her selling out the progressives and the poor's and the working class so much in the last couple of years that Nancy was just going to give her the damn speaker role. But we're not even seeing a challenge from her. And that's what's sick. But hey, it is what it is. All of them are playing a role. All of them have a script, and all of them are playing a motherfucking role.
You mind if I share this real quick, CJ? Just real quick. Go ahead. Go ahead. This is perfect in response to that. I just not thought about this. I saw someone mentioning it in the comments. Jamal Bowman said that it's gangster that this guy is about to become the Hakeem Jeffries about to be the leader. This is the biggest sellout of all time.
Oh God, that guy.
Because for context, because the title really doesn't give it context like this. So he was asked how you feel the fact that you could have two New Yorkers run Democrat, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. Instead of bringing up that both these guys are corrupt, he said that's gangster. You guys think these people are not pulling the con? But anyway, go ahead, CJ. I just want to share that real quick.
No, that is spot on, and I'm just kind of showing another, to your point, Nick. This breaks it down. Be clear, when the House progressives allow Jeffries to waltz unopposed into the speakership, the Progressive Project is in Congress is 100% dead for decades. This guy is 52. He will be there till he's 80 or 90. The squad is dooming everything progressives want, and that is spot on. Like, what is the new strategy is my question now. Like, we need to bring on David Sirota and Marianne Williamson and say and Kyle Kalinske and Jake Uger and say, what is the new strategy? Y'all are always talking about strategy. Now you're trying to tell me your strategy doesn't adjust now that Hakeem, then you're not a good strategist then, because you're telling me you have the same strategist. Whoever's there, don't matter who's the president, don't matter who's the speaker, don't matter how strong your leadership is in the progressive caucus. None of that matters. It's just we're gonna do the same thing no matter who's there. And then we wonder why David Sirota says, "I've been doing this for decades."
Exactly. And guys, we will be 100% down for that. I'll be 100% down talking to these people and ask them what now to see where they come. But they will never do that. Because once again, they're part of the con.
What the fuck you mean? Fall in line, bitch.
They're part of the con. But I can read some super chats. CJ, was there anything else you had on the story?
I don't think, unless you wanted to cover the China votes story?
Oh no, I'm gonna save that if you don't mind. Save that for Thursday.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care about saving that. Yeah, we can save that one. And the Eric Adams. You know, you and I got to cover.
Yeah,
Eric
and that
Adams.
gives me more time to find more up on Eric Adams too. That'll give me more time to do a real
that what he's
anti-Eric
doing
Adams
to
segment.
what he's doing to the unhoused people and mentally ill.
Man.
We just teasing it right now. This is forcibly, like with their will or not. He can just take them, and the cop, get this, the slave catcher gets to do some sort of psychological evaluation to determine. Guess what you think the slave catcher is going to determine? Oh, this nigga's crazy. Let's take this nigga every time. Like that's what the determination is going to be. But go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so this is a story we will cover this on Thursday. This Eric Adams just announced that he's going to remove mentally ill people off the streets and even involuntarily hospitalize them. And this is the point why we must resist this. We all know he's referring to the poor and the homeless. So I'm not gonna dive more into it, but we cover that on Thursday, on tomorrow or whatever. So I think there were one super chat, maybe two that I missed.
We just
had one. I just want to say that this will lead. This is going to lead to a lot of lawsuits. A lot of working class people are going to get targeted by the police and whatnot, and it's going to lead to a lot of lawsuits, and it's going to cause a real uproar. The people is going to have enough because the police, they always take it too far. You give them an inch, they take 10 miles. You give them 10 miles, shit, they take the whole damn plantation.
Look at this comment. What strategy? The strategy all along was getting elected. They have what they want. After that, change was never the goal.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go over super chats, Nick? Unless you're doing something else, I can read.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I'm gonna read these last few super chats, and also make sure you guys like and subscribe, and support the Patreon if you're enjoying this content. We got a lot of great things planned with the new equipment coming. I know Rome, he got a lot of great plans for next year in terms of expanding the care part. We got a lot of stuff we got to work on. We need funds for that. So any support you guys have, it'll go to a good cause. We're not asking for a lot. Like, we all working class people. So I swear to God, I honestly would be happy with only $3. Like, only $3. Like, if you guys get $3, that's more than enough for me. So I appreciate any solidarity you guys show. So anyway, let me pull up the few super chats I think I missed. And I always add a caveat that if I don't show your super chat, it's not because I skipped it on purpose. It's because we probably just didn't see it. It's not malicious. So I think I left off here. Hopefully I'm not doubling up. Their resolve is so hard it's frozen. That's regarding the Ukraine segment. That's when I know the order this came in. Right when they was like, yeah, the Ukrainians' resolve is hardening. Yeah, it's frozen, motherfucker, because you guys can't heat them up. Anyway, I really hope I ain't skipping some of these. I may double just make sure I didn't. They're afraid of the pay scabs and what happened to the Reagan air traffic controllers. Thank you for the $5. All right, that's why I left off. All right, good. We got this one. Thank you for the $2, Marvin. Build back squatter. Squad line don't matter. We always have fun. I've been having fun this stream, so I enjoy that comment. I think we got 3 more here. One from Marvin. Another one from Marvin, I mean. Truth hurts the narrative scam paid for by donors. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we got base community here. We got 3 more super chats, I think. Frank Johnson, thanks for the $5. Strategic means being silent. Let the church say, yeah.
Yes, that's what she said. It means
I
being
explained to me
silent. That's strategic.
The mindset of the squad is we will go along with all your neocon wars. We won't call you out by name. Like, if you look at all the tweets from the squad and Bernie, they're trying their best not to call out Biden, even though this is directly because of Biden. So in their mind, if they're silent on the corruption in the Democratic Party, that'll make the Democratic Party more likely to support progressive ideas. And guys, how dumb did that saying out loud? I swear to God, that's literally what they believe. If we are nice to Chuck Schumer, if we are nice to Joe Biden, they'll be more likely to support Medicare for all. That's literally what they believe. How dumb is that?
Even before the pandemic, 60,000 people were dying a year from lack of health care. People, are taking suicide pacts. Couples are taking suicide pacts because they can't afford their medical bills. This. You think these people?
We have employees jumping off. The pregnant UPS employee jumped off the UPS building because they fired her, and she was so distraught that how is she going to pay her bills. She literally said, "Oh, let me go to the bathroom," and she killed herself.
They can literally see. They have the you know what I'm saying, the reports. They know how many people die. They know how many people suffer, go without. That's under, you know what I'm saying, that's under poverty. They have those numbers at their desk every day. You would think just seeing those numbers, not even thinking about the people, not even just going around the neighborhood and seeing the people, just seeing those numbers, that they will have a change of heart. But these people are evil. You can't negotiate with your enemies. And this is why we are at where we are at today, because you guys keep trying to negotiate with our enemies when they should be kicked off of the table. They should be, their chair should be ripped from under them, and they should be banned. Like, but here you go trying to play nice with people that don't give a motherfuck about you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
So
We got a big one at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make sure I get to that. Thank you for 999 blunts and otters. Please invite Lunch Break Hot Take onto Cover Sports. They're the most brilliant minds today when it comes to progressive politics and the plight of the black athlete. So blessed to have LBHT plus RBN. That's great. It's great to have another great channel. I don't know that much about them, but it's great to know that. And also, big shout out to our friend, amazing support by Landrew here. We appreciate the $100 super chat. That is gigantic. And once again, much love and solidarity to Landrew for this amazing super chat. Together we fight, together we win. So you can't type an F without hiding the F burning the squad. Based as Landrew, guys. Show some love to Landrew in the chat, because this is a big super chat. So we definitely
that's gonna help us out. You know, we're trying to get out here on the streets, trying to report more, trying to be more on the ground with this. You know, and you know, even with our differences, I want to personally shout out Ryan Grimm, you know, from helping us out. That was Ryan Grimm, right?
No. That was Glenn. Glenn, not Ryan.
Glenn, what? Man,
although Ryan has been liking a couple of our tweets.
Yeah. All y'all niggas look alike. But shout y'all niggas out. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, we are trying to get out here, and I know we got differences. You know, and I was skeptical. I still am, but I appreciate it. And you see that RBN is here to stay, and you know, I appreciate that. That's respect for sure.
Yeah, big shout out to Glenn Greenwald. Big shout out to Glenn Greenwald. Thank you for. I don't know. I did. Anyway. Well, I said it for later, because I'm gonna be on Glenn's. Glenn is launching a new podcast. Last night I was helping him shoot one of his pilots test runs that I think is available for members only. He may release the videos. But he said he's gonna have our being a lot, and that's gonna help our channel being on Glenn.
Yeah, shout out to Glenn. I mean, I like Glenn Greenwald. There's some people that don't like you know, liberals. You know, the same people that we don't like. They don't like him.
Yeah,
it's so weird how they describe him. I just want to say that, and we can move on. It's so weird how they describe him and Max Blumenthal and Aaron Monte. I'm like, what? He's a what? I'm just like. It's just so crazy.
That's such a great point, CJ, because like Rome said, he has some disagreements. We had disagreement with Glenn, but whenever I hear people sum up what they think, like whenever I hear liberals talk about Glenn, I'm like, that is not my disagreements. You guys sound like fucking shitlibs to me. But anyway, thank you for $5, Jay the informant. Benjamin Dixon. That's the guy I completely forgot all about. That guy had me blocked for quite some time.
That's the only reason I don't put him on any, because nobody would rush to a stream to see him. You know what I mean? If I put Ben on the play, it's like
Ben Dixon has
go see this shit.
Ben Dixon has 150,000 subscribers. Get less views on his videos than we do.
That's fake.
Because those are fake. Those are fake. That's why. Most of those people buy those. But most of those people buy. You got 1 million. You got like. Anyway, I don't want to go.
Think about it. During the Bernie era, it was so easy to get views off of Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, et cetera, et cetera. People can inflate all type of numbers, and we won't even bat an eye because it would look legit. People, you know, Bernie Sanders was hot if he was on the left side, and if you was talk about Trump, you always was going to get views, whether you was CNN, TYT, Benjamin Dixon, or David Patton or whatever, and a lot of people bought these subscribers to make them look hotter than what they actually were.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Make the movement look bigger than what it actually were. Yeah, it's all branding. It's all about branding. And And when those movements have failed, you know, you telling me they're still subscribed, but they're not watching. No, motherfucker. When a nigga ain't watching, I'm subscribing from this bullshit. Like, they would let you know I'm exiting the fucking building type shit. You know,
people high key, people like Ben Dixon and Tim Black is exactly why I wanted to start RBN. Exactly the reason.
Yeah.
They was the approved Negro. You guys know that Ben Dixon, he's out here doing he tweeting about Putin derangement center. This is a nigga, this is a Negro out here apologizing for Ukrainian Nazis. Black dude, you apologize, worshiping Zelensky. And then Tim Black, big Nina Turner stand. They all Democrats. So I'm like, dude, the only motherfuckers we see out here are black people tap dancing for progressives. And that's Tim Black and Ben Dixon.
What was he apologizing for? What he apologizing for when the government said, hey, if you go over there and fight for them, they might call you a nigga. You might get harassed. You might get your ass killed. But that's just the culture.
Yeah, but anyway, I'll move on. I just think it's always fun to rip on Ben Dixon. It's been a while since I did that because I forgot the guy even existed.
He unblocked this though. He unblocked this.
Yeah, because he didn't unblock me. He didn't unblock me.
No, I mean the account. I don't mean my personal. He used to have the main RBN account blocked, and then I noticed him popping up. Somebody liked something when it was some other story.
He used to follow me. He followed me. He was a big supporter. Then as soon as I went away from the Bernie campaign, he argued with me a few times over that. I ratioed him multiple times, and then he blocked me. I ain't heard of a dude ever since. But anyway, people like Ben Dixon and people like Tim Black is one of the reasons why RBN exists. Because I got tired of seeing these tap dancing Negroes for the Democratic Party. So anyway, CJ, last thoughts? Any last thoughts you guys have?
You can tell. Just tell people where the next time you're gonna see. We got the Jimmy interview, and you can head out. I'm gonna play the the closeout video. So when is the
Jimmy joining on Saturday? That's the only announcement I have. Nick and CJ probably will resume tomorrow
Thursday,
as well.
We'll
Yeah. So Nick and CJ tomorrow, then Jimmy gonna be on Saturday. So
all right, Nick.
See you guys.
All right, Rome. What's going on with you? When you were just about to say something. Tell us about.
I'm headed to Flint.
You're raising money, all that stuff.
If there's anybody in Michigan with a pickup truck that can drive me back and forth, probably like 8 times.
What part of Michigan? They got to know what part you talking
about. Nigga, it don't matter. Nigga, just bring your ass. No, if you're close to Detroit, come out and help me because I need to get this water in my garage so I thought I can be able to get the fucking U-Haul and all that shit in one day, but it's not possible, you know. So, yeah. But anyways, I just need help. Somebody come out and help me. I'm heading out to Flint. We're gonna be handing out water, pushing socialism on the people and shit like that. I'm still I was just working on the library, trying to get that together, ripping up some carpet and shit like that. And damn, it was another thing I was doing. It don't matter.
You're doing a library. You're doing Flint. There is one more thing that's missing.
I know that it's the garden. I got the garden. I got the thrift store. I got the land for that. I'm not working on the thrift store right now. I'm gonna have to build that myself. So I'm not even worried about that. Then I got.
Anyway, we'll bring it to you when we do. But let me show him this and see if you remember.
The clinic. The clinic.
Go ahead. The clinic. Go ahead.
Yeah, the clinic in my neighborhood asked for my help. I usually go to this. I've been going to this clinic since I was a little boy. There was the clinic that embarrassed me in front of my mama. Like, are you sexually active? But yeah, they had asked for my help, man. It's going down, It did look good a couple years ago, but they asked me if I can re-wax the floors and if I can get some paint, helping them out because the city isn't giving them the funding that they actually need to redo the building. And I'm like, damn. Because everybody in there basically watched the show, they follow us on Twitter and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh man. Okay, I'm like, damn, I would love to help. But in the back of my head, I'm like,
what is it that you have to raise money or anything? Do you need to raise money to
Oh yes,
like
yes,
pay for
yes,
something,
yes.
or are they paying for it, or so you need to raise money
Yeah,
for
yeah,
this
they
also?
broke. They are broke, bro.
What's your
The
how
only
can people
reason why they
donate to
are
your shit though? What are the different? You got like 3 ways they can donate to you, or you
yeah.
don't do PayPal no more, huh? Because that shit.
I mean, I still kind of do because the people haven't transitioned to another. A
Yeah,
lot of people
yeah.
haven't
If they
transitioned.
have to, I guess that's
Yeah,
okay.
but you know, we about to get a couple of things together, especially a bank account and a PO box. But the first thing I'm gonna work on is redoing the floors. Like if I'm gonna redo, the painting and stuff like that, the floors is gonna cost the most. The rewaxing, the recoating, the stripping, rewaxing, coating, that's gonna take the most time. That's gonna cost the most money, and just about the most more labor. So we're gonna focus on the floors. I'm thinking it's gonna cost probably like.
So if you do this type of work and you're out in Detroit and you're willing to volunteer this type of flooring work, carpentry work, if you're able to help, you got a truck, this is a good cause. He's trying to help a clinic that is reaching out to him because they're not getting the funding from the state, from the county, from the city, wherever they get the funding because they don't care about these places that are in these neighborhoods. They don't care about upgrading them and keeping them up.
It's in the middle of the red zone. If
Yeah.
you know about Detroit, if you know about the red zone, it's located like right in the middle of the red zone. That's like one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the world, they say. But I walk through there freely. I don't know what they talking about.
so yeah, support. Shout out where people can donate, or you can go to your Twitter, whatever you want them to do. How can they donate to you? And then I'm going to put up the next flyer.
Cash App, Tour for the Poor, but don't donate right now for the clinic. Donate for Flint. Don't donate for the clinic. Donate for Flint, because right now I'm still talking to the owner. Well, I'm talking to his secretary, and we're really trying to get certain things together. I'm trying to, see what's really wrong with it, because I see that it's either a roof leak that they got or something's going on with the pipes, because the drop ceiling, the drop ceiling has spots in it, and I'm like, okay, well, that looked like a water leak or a pipe leak. Something is going on. Maybe the condensation has, from the pipes, from the copper pipes, have dripped on too much, and now it's getting discolored. But we got to change those. We got to change the ceiling, from the floor to the walls to the ceiling. Everything has to be changed, and it's going to take a minute to do it. But how I'm going to do it is, we're going to get the floor together, and from there on, we're going to fundraise one room at a time. So now this is my chance to actually push a lot of fucking communism and socialism with the painting. Like, it's gonna be so many subliminal messages in the paintings that when people catch on to it, they're gonna be like, oh, damn. But it's gonna be so powerful. It's gonna be beautiful. We're gonna paint a couple of murals, and a couple of messages, It's gonna look like
That's
it's
dope, man. Yeah. This is the community work that RBN is about, and really the community work that RBN does is really inspired and led by Rome, and we want to do more. So we are also still running this fundraiser, which is so this is separate from what Rome is talking about. So RBN as a whole is running this fundraiser. Employment and labor, we need equipment like cameras, sound equipment, to do lights and stuff like that, to do citizen journalism. Nick want to get out there with KC Tenants Union. I want to get out here at the UC campuses. I can literally drive to like 3 UC campuses in less than an hour. So I can go, they're striking on all 3. There's several. I mean, I can drive to probably 20 Starbucks, some of which could be striking or trying to unionize. So want to cover that, want to get staff. We need producers. We need it's like an administrator or an administrative person. We need somebody running our social media. There's just a lot of stuff that we're behind. We need editors. So if you're willing to volunteer, you can contact us. But if you donate, there's Venmo, there's Cash App. Venmo is Forever Mutual Aid for those that are listening, and Cash App is Mutual Aid Forever. So just flip the wording. And that's it. That's all I got. I'm gonna be taking off Rome. When's the next time people may see you live? we'll be back tomorrow. We might be back on Friday if you want to jump in.
Yeah,
And then
Sundays
Sundays I might come back.
Yeah,
Sunday
I might be on tomorrow if I can. I got a lot of stuff going on personally, man. I ain't even gonna lie, man. It's been a hell of a week.
Yeah, do you,
But,
man.
I'm getting shit together, and we're gonna chop it up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be more likely. I'm gonna be reporting from the ground more often this winter because I'm gonna be actually working hands on in the library and really building things to get ready to really get this shit done. I'm building a care party. I got more than 15 people in it right now. I know it seems like a low number, but I'm really strategic with it. I'm not just letting anybody in it. People get background checks. Either I knew you for a long time or you have to go through a background check. You have to go through training, physical training, mental training. I have to see where you are at and where I can put you in the party and whatnot. But it's gonna be a beautiful thing.
Right on. All right, everybody. That's it for RBN. Leaving you with this the video we use a lot because it's important to get the message that's in it. So let's play this. Black Panthers, Young Patriots.
Went to this community meeting with the Join organization.
Panthers are here. Panthers are here. For uptown. Okay. We come here with our hearts open. You cats to supervise us, where we can be of help to you. What do you want in your community? What do you want here? Are you afraid of paying? You want to take berets off, man, or what?
There were a lot of suspicions about the Black Panthers that they were gun-carrying terrorists.
It was a scenario that I had never been in before. I see some guys with Confederate flag patches. I was a little concerned.
The thing we got to deal with is concept of poverty, man. We got to reach the color thing. See,
The building's not fit for dogs to live in, but humans having to pay $144 a month for the thing. They sell the building, to new ownership. What we need is understanding among the people, coalition between the people to stick together and take them owners and put them over here in the lake somewhere.
right on. Once you realize, man, that your house is funky with rats and roaches, same way a black dude's house is, once you realize that your brother's been brutalized by the cop, the same way the west side and south side is, once you realize that you are paying taxes for the cops to whoop your ass, you're paying them, and you're paying them to kill you, and deal from there. The same thing's happening on the south
Bob
side.
Lee turned out to be quite an organizer. And he says, yeah, my name is Bobby Lee, but my real name is Robert E. Lee. And we all laughed. We said, you got to be kidding me.
Who's here that want to see this thing move? Right on. Well, the first thing we talk about now is how we're going to organize. Where are we going to organize? And, we're all going to get run out of here eventually.
That was a good meeting. It was. It got everybody riled up.